Yeah!
Hey-o!
Woo-hoo-hoo! What up, guys? Holy shit! What up, guys? Welcome to the Ben and Scout Show. I am
Ben.
And you are
Ben.
Scout. And we are the Ben and Scout Show.
All right, guys. We are the Ben and Scout Show.
We're still working on that shit.
We practiced it like once before.
We just talked about practicing it like 5 seconds before and we fucked it up. God damn it.
Yeah,
Fucking suck. Anyways.
Whoa.
Fail. Anyways, so welcome, guys. Welcome back. Average. We haven't seen you in a week or so. Tonight we are talking about guilty pleasures, like things that you like that you're kind of embarrassed about. So we're going to go over that. Also, we're going to talk about the infamous topic that's really hot right now that I asked Monday called Flat Earth.
Flat Earth, baby.
Yeah, Flat Earth topic. For some reason, it sparked a big outrage and a lot of conversation on that. So we're going to talk about that tonight. We also have a special guest talking about that, and we're going to talk about the underground music scene. We have a special guest, SICKBOY, SICKBOY. We'll get him on later on the show. Also, we have Sports Junkie. Don't forget we have him. And tonight we're going to talk with him about what's going on in the sports world. Doesn't really much going on this week, but some big news happened today. It involves hookers, so stay tuned. What time has it been?
Shout out time.
It is shout out time. Let's get some shout outs ready. Ben, you want to do the honors of the first one?
First shout out goes to the infamous Boardwalk Tattoos.
Yeah, located at 7218 Blanco Road. Go check them out. Go see Sue and Abel. Those guys are awesome. Big shout out to all the winners, Russell and Heather, and Laura, who won the piercing. Those guys are awesome, and they're big winners, and it's good to have them to be winning and being a part of the team. Big shout out to Cloudcraft, located on Bulverde Road. Go check out Avery and get a hug and say hi and tickle his nipples. You know, whatever, the good stuff.
Tickle his nipples.
Tickle his nipples. That actually rhymes.
I haven't tried that yet. Maybe it'll work.
Let's see. Big shout out to Fast Eddie's Vape Shop and Lounge, located in Florida. Go check them out if you live in Florida or nearby, or check them out online. Those guys are awesome. Say hi to my buddy Preston out there. So Ben, how was your week?
Well, I got a couple more last shout outs.
Oh, no shit. What you
got? I want
got?
to give a couple shout outs to the people who've logged on so far. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Russell. You guys make this show possible for us. We appreciate your ongoing support.
What up, everybody? Glad you guys are logging on and checking us out right now. We are going live from the studio, a.k.a. Ben's Garage.
Ben's Garage.
And no, I don't mean his vagina.
No, not today. Not today.
So, how was your week?
My week's pretty good. Shit. Not really much happened this past week that I can really say that was my dad's coming to town. My dad's coming to town. It's his birthday. That happened.
You have a dad?
Yeah, I have a dad.
That's
his
awesome.
birthday was yesterday, so we're gonna celebrate a little bit of family stuff, shenanigans tomorrow. So he's here in town right now, or he's actually probably just rolling up into town. He asked if I could go out and eat with him. I said, man, we have the show going on right now, so
damn.
I am missing eating out with my father for you guys.
Oh, eating out with your father. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, never mind. I thought he said something else. I know you guys heard it. Well, that's cool. Sounds like you had a fun week. I had a pretty fun week. You know, busy working and all that shit. And, all the good stuff. But it's been a pretty good week. You know who I've missed all week, though?
Cock.
Oh, you bitch. This motherfucker. No, I missed one special guy, and he's actually the guy we're going to bring on next. You know his name?
Are you talking about?
Yes, I'm talking about him. Introducing next.
Boss! Holy crap, I have a microphone.
I know, it's amazing, right?
What's going on?
My own mic.
You got your own earphones too, baby.
We got mics and we got headphones now.
Moving up in the world.
Yeah, we know you were gone on your safari last week. Safari into that. Whoopsie.
Yeah, I went to the planetarium. It was pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh. So, what happened with that? I want to hear all about that. That sounds amazing.
So it's a really good date. It's a Scobie Planetarium. Scobie was one of the passengers on the Challenger.
That's
right. I'm kind of older, so I was like a kid when when the Challenger happened, and like one of the things that they had was there was a school teacher going up into the
Before you go
shuttle.
any further, I want you to say Challenger real quick.
Challenger.
One more time.
Challenger. Yes, you have an echo effect.
Yes, we do. It's awesome.
Scout discovered the board effects.
All right, keep going. So Challenger, yes.
So anyway, it, like all the school kids, they're like, "Oh, kids, come gather around. We're about to watch this teacher go up into space," and then it blew up. So anyway, so they named.
Whoa! Oh shit!
Yeah. It was kind of a.
Fuck.
It was a big deal. So anyway, they named the planetarium after one of the people on the Challenger, and it's over at San Antonio College. And it is a pretty good date. It's only on Fridays, but they do 3 different shows. Like one's for the really young kids, and then after that, they're like, you got to kick your kids out. I don't know what the parents do. I guess they can't go to the next 2 shows. But then after that, they had 2 more shows. One where they show what the night sky looks like now, showing here's the current constellations that you can see and tell you what they are.
They can show that what's going on currently.
Yeah. They explain the night sky as we'd see it now.
That's amazing.
And you're sitting underneath a huge concrete dome, which if there's ever like an apocalyptic event, that's the place to go because it's a giant concrete dome. And if you're going to fight zombies, I mean, you want to be underneath that thing because it's got super reinforced steel doors.
Is on the first level or is like the second level? Do they have multiple levels to that thing?
Well, yeah, there's also on the top, there's a telescope that you can actually go at the end of the night if weather permitting.
Yeah.
You can actually look through their giant telescope and check out the stars or whatever it is they're looking at.
Oh. So
weird.
that was your Valentine's date to your. By the way, ladies, Tony is taking. That was your Valentine's date to your taken. So I'm sorry. That was the Valentine's date to your girlfriend.
That was the Valentine's Day thing, that I did with Kathy. It was pretty cool.
Oh, she has a name.
Yeah, she has a name.
Name is Kathy.
Yeah.
Don't tell us
Her
your
name
last
is Robert
name.
Paulson.
Robert Paulson.
She has a name.
This woman has a name.
Yep.
That's amazing, dude. Wow, that's a great idea. I wish I had thought of that. Wow.
Yeah, and it was like a Valentine's Day show, so when it started off, they had all these hearts raining down above you. It was pretty dizzying and
Wait, what?
It reminded me of drug experiences. But anyway.
So let me ask the question because I know all of our viewers are wanting to know.
Okay.
So how did the end of the night go?
Exactly like you think it would.
Dude, you're a sick man.
Oh God. Okay. Not like Scout would
not.
think it would.
No, Scout would think it would.
Like erase that version and put like a more romantic, nice version.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, something like that.
So candles too, and
yeah, we had lamb shanks at this nice little Moroccan cuisine place. And
wait, you said
What?
lamb
Lamb
shanks?
oh my God, they're lamb shanks, dude.
Lamb shanks
Yep.
at a Moroccan restaurant. Go check
Moroccan
it out.
cuisine.
That is nice.
That is amazing. I want some lamb shakes now.
They're the best there, like hands down, I've ever had in my
Somebody
life.
call the manager. Tell her to go get us some lamb shakes. Shanks, not shakes.
Shanks.
Shakes, dude.
I want
Yeah,
lamb
like in
shakes
prison.
with a side of goat. with goat whipped cream on top, please. Thank you.
Wait,
Dude, it was
goat whipped
fantastic.
cream?
That sounds amazing. Wow, I'm really proud of you, Tony. Good job.
Yeah, the place looks kind of like a front for something because it's a really small little dive with like a hookah bar, but there's hardly anyone in there.
It's a front for something.
It looks like it, man, because I'm always like, dude, who goes in there? I never see anybody there, but it's always open. So I was like, well, fuck it, we're going to go. So we went up there and we were like looking in the menu, and he's like, you don't want the menu. And we were like, we don't? He's
Trust
like,
me,
you
don't
want the
want-
lamb shanks. And yeah.
It's like, you know what? I think
Is
I'm
that
gonna have
like
the lamb
all they
shakes.
have? They like whatever you try to order, they're like, no, you don't want that.
No, I mean, they've got a
You
whole
want
menu full of
lamb
other,
shanks.
like,
I'd be
other
in there and be
stuff,
like,
but-
I see your menu says burgers. Can I get one of those? You don't want the burger. But I think I really want to. No, you trust me. You don't want the
trust me,
burger.
you don't want the
You want the
burger.
lamb shanks.
You really do, though.
It tastes just like the burger.
They taste just like the burger, but better. Plus, it's not cooked with fresh heroin. What? I didn't say that. Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah, and you can
Congratulations.
smoke a hookah afterward and all that
smoke
stuff.
hookah.
Yep.
Damn. That sounds like an awesome Valentine's Day. Good job, Tony. Make
You
sure
don't
you
want the
guys
burger. You don't
put
want
some
the
You want the
burger.
lamb
Tony,
shank. That was awesome. I'm proud of you. All right, so you know who else we haven't seen in a week?
Who we not seen in a week?
My favorite sportsman in the whole wide world.
Oh man, we gotta get
Introducing
another chair.
next at 6'5", weighing 225 pounds. He is the mean bean strongin' machine. He is the one, the only sports junkie.
Oh, sports junkie.
What up, junkie?
What's up, gentlemen?
God damn it, you're looking good.
God damn, that was loud as hell.
Sports
in my
You're
ear.
junkie.
so fucking orange.
That is so damn loud in my ear.
Want to put
I
it down a
love
little bit?
it.
How's it sound now? You sound good? Good. How about now?
Mic check. Hey,
Less?
that's mine.
Oh.
He's the red cord.
Well, we'll always put yours all the way down. You don't need any shit.
Motherfucker.
We don't need to hear his ass, do we?
That's the red cord is what
Red
he's
cord.
got. There you go.
How about there?
How about now? How about now? How about now? How about now? How about now?
Sounded good, actually.
All right.
Wow.
Oh, whoa,
What
Whoa!
cap? What cap is that, sports junkie?
Syracuse, baby.
Syracuse.
I'm wearing Beat Duke and a Syracuse shirt in honor of tomorrow's game, Syracuse versus Duke college basketball.
We have
There-
a bunch of novelties in this drawer. We got a.
There are a couple of issues
Collapsible
with this
baton.
situation that happened yesterday.
What situation happened yesterday?
Did you see the Duke North Carolina game where Zion Williamson's
Yes.
shoe blew out?
Whoa,
Yeah, and
what?
he sprained his knee, so he won't be playing.
Wait, his shoe blew out?
Yeah. Oh man, you gotta.
Should we look at the video?
Yeah. Look at the video.
All right.
Wow.
But on the way home from the game, Syracuse game, our coach Jim Boeheim hit a pedestrian and killed him.
Whoa,
oh, shit. Whoa.
Yeah. So it was a.
Whoa.
Was he intoxicated?
No, he doesn't drink at all.
I wouldn't drink after doing that either.
He swerved the.
I'd be
he
drinking
swerved to
after
hit to not hit the car, and he actually hit the pedestrian and killed him.
Wow.
Holy crap.
So ESPN decides that they're going to take away College Game Day from the Syracuse University because of Zion Williamson being hurt, and then also the Jim Boeheim incident. So
That's crazy.
yeah, it's kind of nuts. Ben, yeah, just look up Zion Williamson or
Zion Williamson?
or shoe blowout. There you go, blown out shoe. Right.
Let me see if I can find the video.
That's nuts, man. Wow.
So yeah, that was kind of a big deal that happened. It was like, what the hell, man? Like, what is going on in the sports world? And then of course we awake to this news of call it tailgate. Get it?
Oh, yeah, what is that?
That's fucked up.
What is it? That is the owner of the New England Patriots getting caught in a prostitution ring
Oh, is that what we're talking about?
That's right.
In a
down
ring?
Damn it.
down in Jupiter, Florida.
My phone blew up
Guess-
6 times about that.
Right?
Like I was sitting there working, and actually I hear doo 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 doo.
So wait,
doo 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 doo.
does anybody
Fucking
know
6 times in a row?
what does it take to get 2 counts? Because like the first count, I think I know what's going on. Was he like, I'm not finished yet? And he was like, I gotta go back in. And they're like, oh, that's gonna be 2 counts. And he's like, yeah, but it was really good.
He's
So
like, yeah, but I didn't
paid
get
for
the.
2, so
He's all, yeah, but I didn't
not
get to nut
refundable.
yet.
So a little background on the case. It says Robert Kraft was driven to the Jupiter Spa on 2 occasions and received sex acts,
oh, okay.
which were captured by video inside the building.
Wait, what?
Oh wait, so
captured the
they caught
video?
him doing it twice.
Yeah.
You know, I saw a picture earlier of the chick he did it with, and you know, surprisingly, she looked a little like Mr. Brady.
Oh yeah, you see that
What?
meme? That meme was pretty funny. So it says,
Oh, here's the video.
All right, so let me put on the video
Oh,
for you
yeah.
guys so you guys can take a look at it
Yeah,
real quick.
let's see this real quick.
From the Brady Bunch?
Watch this, Tony.
All right, I'm putting on the volume for you guys too to hear.
No, Tom Brady.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Mr.
Stunned
Brady from the
basketball
Brady
fans in the
Bunch. And I was
stands
like,
and
oh my
across the
God.
internet. In the first minute
I know that guy.
of the Duke North Carolina game, the left shoe of Blue Devils star forward Zion Williamson split in half at the sole, and that caused his foot to slip through
Is there a
the
video?
break. Wow. Former President Obama was in the crowd and was shocked
Not on that
as
one.
just
There's
about
there's
everyone
plenty
else
of video
was.
out there.
You know what? Ben's gonna work on finding
Yeah.
the video of it himself
So-
before he actually posts it out.
So it says
I'm gonna
when
pull it out either way, baby.
Oh, there's Obama.
Yeah.
here's the video.
I missed that guy.
What do you think
He
happens?
was funny.
Not because he's a Duke fan, but because he wanted to.
Williamson. I mean, his
Oh, okay,
shoe
yeah, back it
blew
up a little bit.
apart.
Right there.
Offensive rebounding team.
watch
Usually
this.
that's the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Oh, there it is.
Slipping and injured is Zion Williamson. I mean, his shoe blew apart.
So they're saying that he needs to
Zion Williamson going out.
because he's got the
And
build
I
like
can
Bronze.
never. You've seen a player
Oh,
fall out of the shoe, have a shoe fall off. You've never seen a
Hopefully they
shoe.
show it again. Ooh. Wow.
That's
I
unbelievable.
mean, they probably don't
broke
give
his
these dudes
shoe with
cheap
his own
shoes,
foot.
right?
No, they
But as you
don't.
say,
They don't
the
wear
in-
cheap shoes.
Now Nike took a lot of
Took
heat for this, and they were saying that they're going to look up, how this happened and whatnot. But so there's a
They're
big
gonna lay down the law
So
at one
there-
of these factories.
So there's a big debate going on right now. Zion Williamson is probably the best player in the nation in college basketball. And they're saying, should he continue to play for Duke since he's got this knee sprain, or should he just say screw it and wait for the draft and go ahead and make that money?
Oh, man.
So it's a huge debate going on, and a lot of former players and Duke players and everybody is chiming in on it. So
That's nuts.
yeah, it's pretty cool. How
God, you know that guy's like so much pain about that shit too.
What if he
Well-
was wearing Air Jordans and they said they weren't inflated?
right?
That would have been good.
they would have
Then it would have been Deflategate and Tailgate that we're going to transition into.
they'd have been flat Jordans. They wouldn't even been bounced. They would have been stopped.
Flat Jordans.
Flat Jordans.
I thought this was funny. It says when asked if Robert Kraft was there as a regular or seemed familiar with this,
Oh, you know damn well he was a regular.
the lead detective, I would say, going through the evidence, yes.
You know, to be honest, guys, I would have to say that Robert Kraft is a regular every week. He comes in once or twice, usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the $2 specials.
I was talking to a friend about this and what your guys' take. If you had that kind of money, and wouldn't you have like a harem like Hugh Hefner if you really needed to? Have
Well,
like
yeah,
that?
I would go to
come
a
on.
fucking hotel and have the host come to me, you know?
No, you'd have like what they call that place that Hef lived at?
Oh, the
Playboy Mansion?
Mansion. Yeah, you'd have like a mansion that they lived there, and
He's got one.
Yeah, he's got
It's
plenty
where
of money.
it's where the Patriots play.
Yeah, he's-
What I want to know is, like, if he got caught on tape with this, it's not really that private, right? I mean,
It's not private.
I would say that would be for like very secure, like no one
Oh.
gets sight of his footage. But the fact that it was so easy available to get that footage,
So you think maybe they did it for blackmail, or like somebody
Maybe.
was gonna?
they really
Yeah,
they
so-
wanted to bust this ring for sure. This
Oh, I
prostitution
bet.
ring.
I bet that thing has been going on for a while, and the investigation probably been going on for probably at least 6
what did
months,
it
maybe,
say? I think it said 4 months that
Wow.
they've been doing it.
since last year.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
It said 4 months. Wow.
All right, go.
Wow.
Such enthusiasm.
Wow.
Yeah, we love that FX button.
So let's go back to UFC Fight Night. Francis Ngannou and Cain Velasquez. It wasn't as thrilling as we all thought it would be. At least a lot of the people did. Luckily, it was on ESPN and it was free.
So who fought that night?
James Vick, we called him the Texecutioner. He fought,
Texecutioner.
Paul Felder, but Paul Felder beat him by decision. And then in the main event, Francis Ngannou fought Cain Velasquez, and it was supposed to be the comeback of Cain Velasquez, and it lasted like 26 seconds. His knee blew out, and he got his ass beat.
Damn.
So it wasn't much of a fight, but we got. You turned everything off.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I can't hear a damn thing.
I think your thing died.
Oh, it must have. All right,
Apparently, Beat headphones have to be charged.
it must be.
Who knew?
He does some
I
shit.
charged them on the way here.
whoa,
He charges them right next to his dildo.
That's right. Hey,
wait, what?
what I was getting into is the prostitution
letting that
ring, right? It was caught in Jupiter, Florida. Of all people, guess who's from Jupiter, Florida?
Who?
Michael Jackson.
Tiger Woods.
Oh shit.
So here's the thing.
That motherfucker's probably the one that
Shout
called
out
it
to
in.
Tiger Woods for not being on that Jupiter rub and tug list.
That's fucked up. His wife would have found that out real quick.
How does one join the rub and tug list?
Just
Give him a
asking,
call.
So, just out of curiosity, how does one join this friendly secret
yeah,
group?
if they're down one, so seems like you could just pencil that in.
By the way, guys, if you're just tuning in and you want to comment in the comment section, all you have to do is add the group, and either us or the manager will immediately add you right away.
Yeah.
Right away.
Right away.
How do you get added to that rub and tug list? That's a good question.
Well, you got to
You
do
must have some money.
You got to have some money, and you got to be willing to do some rub and tug.
Rub
So,
and tug.
so what did you see
Rub
in
and
the sports
tug.
world happen this week? Anything?
No. I've been busy working like crazy, trying to make money.
I did forget one big thing: the Daytona 500.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that happened Sunday.
I called it the Daytona 500 Carnage because
what happened?
seriously, dude, there was only like, I think there was like 14 cars left out of 40
Wait,
at
what?
the end of the race. Yeah, there was huge accidents. Denny Hamlin wound up winning, and Joe Gibbs Racing finished 1, 2, and 3, so that was pretty big for them. But,
Big
yeah,
shout out to
there
the
was
manager.
just-
Could you bring me a Rockstar, please?
What?
You love this,
Dude, this
whipped
is
and
my
blended
favorite.
strawberry.
I'm so glad I finally got these. I haven't had them for 2 weeks. I've been pissed.
No shit.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, NASCAR 500 Carnage.
Yeah, it was crazy. Lot of bad wrecks. 14, 15 car pileups. Yeah, it was nuts.
Nuts. Hey guys, call in 978-543
0405.
Nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah, we need
Hashtag
some
nuts.
live callers.
He said nuts.
You know what's nuts?
Dude, I can't hear y'all.
What's nuts, Tony?
Dude, there was so many rock stars that they gave us from Boardwalk.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, little quick shout out to Boardwalk, man. They had
Boardwalk Tattoos was really nice to us.
yeah, they gave it to us.
Yeah, Rockstar came by. They dropped off like 8 cases, like the 24 packs of Rockstars, and they said, just take some home, So we had a whole case for the show of Rockstars here, so we're going hard.
We literally drank 37.
We drank 37 of them. We stayed up late that night.
The three of you did.
Yeah, you had other plans, other things to do.
Dude,
Involving
okay,
a
wait.
man.
I don't, well, so during the sideshow was so extreme.
It was really extreme.
Yeah, I think Junkie's date had to leave
Yeah, she
because it was pretty hardcore.
did. Yeah, she got sick.
Oh yeah, she said she
She went through up. Yeah.
Damn.
When
I mean,
they did
dude-
the, I don't know if it was the scissors or the drill that went up the girl's nose.
Seeing
she
it on
lost
video doesn't do it justice. Seeing
No,
it in
not at all.
person, being like next to it.
Right, seeing it like 4 feet away.
Yeah.
Welcome
You're
to the show, Avery.
And hearing,
You know what? I'm
and
not
hearing
even gonna
scouts like play by play, like, dude, she's gonna drill it up her nose. Oh shit,
2 power
she's about
drills.
to take it out. 2 power drills.
Holy fuck! You think she really stick those things in there?
Holy crap, she
How-
did.
Think she could take the whole thing? Holy shit!
If you want to see the video, the live replay of the video, guys, go on the page. We have it on the page, or go
Yeah,
to our
it's-
YouTube channel.
It's like
in the
4
Scout Show.
videos back or some shit.
Yeah, so
We got everything on this show, man. We
Yeah,
got
we do.
sideshow, sports,
Next
whatever
week
you're into. We got something for you.
Oh,
Gotta keep the
speaking
topics hot.
of whatever we are into,
what?
Oh God.
the boss,
Oh.
I have an announcement to make.
Okay. I'm a little
At
worried
some
now.
point, we will have a dominatrix on the show,
Oh, holy crap!
Oh yeah, we've been talking about that.
That's really cool.
and
And what?
and
And she's gonna beat your ass?
we need you to be the gimp.
What?
We can
Yes.
we can get a suit.
The safe word is flugen, flagen.
No, the safe word.
That is not the
When she
safe
comes
word.
out, we'll come up with a safe word. Most likely, it's going to be something sexual, like banana.
Banana?
No, it
Banana.
can't be banana.
Why not banana?
Dude, I already have a
you say-
safe
You know
word.
what? You know what? We'll do it like Jackass
What's
does
your
it.
safe word?
Safe word will be Oklahoma.
It's don't stop.
Don't stop.
Believing?
Don't ever stop.
No, I'm kidding. No, I don't know.
We need you to be the gimp. We need to do it for the team.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe I need to get my nipples pierced first or something.
We'll pay for that.
Go see High
Get all
Five.
shaved up.
We won't pay for your medical expenses, but we'll pay for your
My
for you to
medical
get pierced.
experience.
We currently don't have medical insurance for the show, but we will pay for you to get nipples pierced.
Oh my
Hell, we'll get High Five to do it live on the air.
I've been to an S&M party before, but it wasn't as exciting as you'd
Whoa.
think.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
tell
gonna,
us a little bit about that.
It was like a
They
bunch
had
of
a
older
dungeon.
people.
wait a minute. Whoa!
Yeah, here in San Antonio, there was a little group of people that would have a meet and greet, and I was curious about it, so I wanted to see what was going on with a real S&M party, and they told me, like in this closet of their house, you would look, and there was this hole in the ground, and they would lower you down with a rope, and they said, yeah, we have a full dungeon down there.
Wait. Hold up. Hold the fuck up.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. They had a dungeon. They lowered
Yes.
something down with a rope. And they said they pushed the lotion in the basket.
Well,
or
that's
else
the
it gets
thing.
the hose again.
I was
All
like,
right. I'll put the lotion on
I was
the
like,
skin.
I really don't know these people that well, so I'm not going into their hole
That's very underneath
underneath the house.
What was
Bad
it?
choice of
Dungeon.
words.
What was the name of the dog on that movie?
Because I mean, they might not have let me back up. I mean,
What was the name of the
Yeah,
dog
it's
in the
very
movie? Give me the
concerning.
fucking name of the dog.
Wait, did some people go into the hole while you were there? Did you see him go into the hole?
no,
Puts the
they
lotion in the
put one
basket.
girl in stocks and got a little slap happy with the whips and who's it's.
What the fuck?
So on a
Yeah.
level like 1
Are we
through
in
10,
Whoville?
how attractive were these individuals?
A lot of them were not. I mean, there were some serious 3s and 4s happening a lot over there.
Serious
But
3s and 4s.
but there would be like
you were thinking
there'd be
of,
like
Joe
there's like 1-8 and she was the girl that of course they chained up and whipped.
What was her name?
really?
Was that the girl in the down in the bottom of the dungeon?
I don't remember her name.
Did she have a dog and it was the guy at the top of the dungeon being like, "Don't you hear my dog, man? Precious."
That's
I don't know if that's a time for using effects. That's a weird effect.
Don't you hear my fucking
was,
dog, man?
That was a really weird time to throw in the echo.
So, all right, down in the dungeon. Here we go. Hello.
Don't you hurt my dog?
Don't you hear my dog, man? Oh, we got a caller.
We gotta call her. Oh, that's my mom.
Oh, put her on the phone. Put her on the phone. Put her on the air. Put her on the air.
It's Ben's
We're
mom.
not gonna put my mom on the air right now.
Why
guys.
not?
Maybe
She-
she wants.
Maybe
to
she
be
wants
on
to
the
sing Goodbye Horses.
No, it's because they're coming into town right now, so she's probably just giving me a quick call to let me know if they're in
Well,
town.
just let her know we're on the show.
Yes.
There's a house in San Antonio where the basement lies. I've seen Pee Wee Herman. There's no basement in the Alamo.
I'll put her back on if she calls.
If
back.
she calls again,
If she
you
calls
better
again,
put
I
her
will
on the air
back
with
on.
us.
Yeah. You talking about the Alamo basement over there?
Yeah, that's what one of the comments said.
I need a rock star.
From Chris Price.
I made you know what? I'll go grab one. I made fake punk rock show flyers of a band that I claimed was mine and put them up that said that the show was happening in the Alamo basement.
There is no Alamo basement.
Exactly, yeah. Which I just like to mess with people.
I think it'd be funny as fuck. They just show up and they show up on the one day the KKK's there out front. They're like, "Oh, you guys here for the punk show in the Alamo basement too?" No, we're here to pledge freedom. Whoa, what the fuck?
Hey, does your guys' shops or offices, do they do March Madness pool parties where you fill out the brackets?
Mine doesn't. The only party we do is get the fuck out of here and go home to go to your other party. Don't stay here at work.
Nah, it's like, you can make money.
Yeah,
You make money
our
in the
bosses
pools.
don't like any of us.
Oh, okay.
Fucking bosses.
Because that's right around the corner, March Madness. Hey, I do
Oh,
need to
that's
give a
right.
big shout out to the Wildcats.
Wildcats.
How did they do after all?
We are 2-0 in the last 2 weeks, guys. We
2-0?
It's called a winning streak. We call that a
Damn.
winning streak. Let's give a shout out to
You have an
Coach Bree.
official.
Shout out to
winning streak.
Wildcats.
Coach Bree.
Coach
Hey,
Bree.
so game time tomorrow, 9:30, and then my ace is high. We still haven't won shit, but we have a game at
getting
we have a
there.
game at 3:30. Hopefully, we'll get there. But yeah, that's all in the sports world today, man. There isn't a whole hell of a lot. One thing is DeMar DeRozan's back in Toronto tonight, so the Raptors are playing the Spurs. The Raptors are playing the
Wait,
Spurs.
DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah,
Wasn't he with us too?
yeah. I'm saying
Wait.
the Spurs are back in Toronto,
Oh.
playing them tonight. So it's kind
I
of.
thought you meant DeMar DeRozan got traded
No,
to the
no.
Raptors. Like, what the fuck? They got 3 of our guys?
No, it's a
Bullshit.
How did I just join? What the fuck?
Oh, you know how.
Somebody.
All right, you got a choice between
Strawberry.
candy, cotton candy,
Strawberry.
and whipped
Strawberry.
strawberry.
Whipped.
Speaking about
Thank
being
you.
whipped.
So yeah.
you do like being whipped.
So
right?
Ben, tell me
Maybe
truthfully.
you should be the gimp.
Why isn't he the gimp? Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah.
Ben,
Yeah,
are you
wait a minute.
are you the sub or the dom? I want to hear each person, sub or dom. Are you the whipper or the whippy?
Well, there's sub, dom, sadist, masochist.
That's same things. Like if you're a sadist, you like to dish it out. If you're a masochist, you like to get it. You pitcher, you catcher.
So
Which way's it going?
So I guess we're at the guilty pleasures segment of the show.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh shit.
You did just get a second rock star, so guilty pleasures. No, but seriously, we're talking about dominatrix stuff.
Yeah, I think I mean, I can't say I guess I'd be a dom. I'm not gonna be a sub in a sense. Like I can't see myself as a sub.
Yeah.
I do know a lot of people who are subs. But I can't really see myself like I'm a fucking dom at the same time either.
So you want to tie her up?
Yeah, I would want to tie her up, but I'm not gonna like just go out of my way to tie her up.
Okay.
So
Well-
it's a matter of like, I don't know. The mood has to be right. The stars have to align.
What about you, Scout? What are you doing? Are you whipping her? Are you giving her a whipping, or are you letting her tie you up?
I do a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. You're gonna take turns.
Yeah, but nothing goes in my butt.
Except the plug.
That ninja
Nothing
finger.
touches my asshole.
No
ever.
ninja finger.
Yeah, what about a ninja finger?
No ninja finger.
Back door is locked. Stay the fuck out.
That's my policy.
Don't come in the back door on Thanksgiving. You will not have fun.
All right, Junkie.
I'm gonna go the same thing with Scout, but I sure as shit ain't having nothing in my ass either. So, ain't it?
Okay, I already said that. You can't say that.
Well, that's how it is.
You heard that, ladies. He likes it both ways.
I'd like to have the girl take control for once. I think that'd be kind of sexy.
You know, it's fun. It is fun.
Be at her mercy.
I like being in control, but also like being controlled by the woman too.
Because it'd be freaking scary. Because then she'd be like, "You remember that one time?"
Say, hey, babe, let me take the reins for tonight.
Now
Sure,
that you're
okay.
tied up.
She'd be like, all right, baby, let me take the reins for tonight. Yeah, sure, why not, babe? Let's do it. Turn around, she got a big old dildo. Whoa! Put that fucking saddle away. We're not taking those kind of reins tonight.
But
We're
you're
doing
you're
something
tied
else.
up, so you can't do nothing.
Now,
Well,
is the reason why you don't want anything in the back door because you're afraid you may like it?
Yep.
It's often
Hashtag
often
guilty
the case.
pleasures.
Hashtag guilty pleasures.
I just don't want my poops to fall out.
Oh fuck! No, you.
They just slide right out. Like a leaky snow cone machine.
Like, it'll just come down next to you. It's just
Or,
going.
ice cream machine.
The fuck was that? Yeah, he shat himself. That was
Here-
a fucking
have you ever-
bazooka of shit.
Have you ever got like an icy and then you turn the knob and you try to stop the icy but it's still kind of dripping a little bit?
Oh,
The ice machine.
like the
no.
fucking McDonald's ice cream machine,
Oh,
just fucking
no.
dripping old ice cream, just
Oh
chocolate.
man.
Just,
I'm not going to be able to look at Slurpees and my soft serve the same. You've ruined it.
thanks a lot, Ben. Now you've ruined chocolate
Yeah.
ice cream for all of us.
I don't know how you turned my favorite thing, soft serve, into anal.
I thought your favorite thing was. No, I got nothing.
Smoking cigarettes, drinking rock stars.
Sucking dick? What? So wait, so Tony, since you're the most sexually experienced out of all of us,
Oh, am I?
You worked at a sex shop, bro.
yeah, you work
Well,
at a
I
sex
did work
shop.
at a porn
you're,
shop.
You're
You
more
went to the
experienced
dungeon.
than all of
I mean,
us
come on.
combined. So what would you
almost
say was the
afraid what he's
weirdest
gonna
thing
ask
that's
me.
ever happened to you, sexually?
Oh my god, dude! I don't think I don't know if
Hashtag guilty pleasures.
that's a guilty pleasure. That's not a guilty pleasure. Is that I ate a whole box of donuts or the whole pizza? The weirdest thing. Oh man. I'm trying to think if a girl ever. What's one of the weirdest things a girl's ever done? Like surprise, like weird.
Ninja finger.
No, not ninja finger. Thank God. That's. Dude, I don't know. Okay, I can't say who, but a girl wanted me to fist her.
Whoa! Wait. Hold up.
Yeah.
The whole fist?
Yeah, she
What
she
she's-
it. I mean, it didn't go like direct into that, but it didn't start with that. But she was like, "Oh yeah, okay now." Two,
But it ended with
now
that?
keep going, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm running out of." She's like, "Get it all," and I was like, oh, "Damn!"
Tony, how far did you take your fist into that asshole?
Not in her butthole.
Oh, in her vagina? No shit.
Yeah.
How far did you take
God,
your fist in there?
fist and buttholes. Damn, dude, this show just we're getting. Oh
Keep
my
going.
God, we're getting some calls.
Rectum.
Hashtag don't stop.
And now we have a caller on the line.
Oh, we have a caller? Oh, damn.
We have
Yeah.
a request on the line.
So, Tony, we just gained viewers. To keep going, like how far did you take that fist? Did you go elbow or did you go shoulder?
No, you can't. No, you slowly.
Did you have
got-
that ring on?
I did not.
Oh
wear
my
the ring.
god!
No, you would
You would have fucking murdered her.
Yeah, it would cheese grater your insides. It would not be
Oh
good.
my god!
No,
She just
you-
fucking
you-
make a line
you-
of just like filleted
'Cause
fish
you-
coming
you-
right in.
And then the fingers, and then you kind of get in 4, and then you got to use lube, people. Lots of lube.
Did you just like slip
Unless
in
you're
at
like
the very end?
super loose.
Because you just reached her like stomach or something and
No,
no.
no.
It's like, oh,
But it
we
was-
have. Oh, here we go, Mrs. Smith. I have found your colon cancer.
She definitely enjoyed it.
Really?
That's what I'll leave.
Well, that's good.
Leave you with there.
Was she a
I would
squirter?
hope so.
No, actually, she wasn't that much of a squirter. But
Oh my god!
oh.
Oh, keep going, Ben. I mean,
new caller.
Tony.
The new caller. It's Ben's mom again.
No,
All right,
she
so All right, I want to hear some more. What are some
no,
of y'all's
wait, no,
guilty
we're not
pleasures?
done listening
No,
to
man.
you. Keep going.
No, man. That's it. That's the end of the. That's the end of the story. Besides, then afterwards, she was like, "Don't tell anybody that happened," because she didn't want anyone to know.
So how far did you take that fist? Like, did you go like
No,
stop me when you went that far?
The body. That's as far as you can go. I mean, I know a woman can have a baby, but like when you're in that, you're not putting an actual arm inside. They're not a Muppet, dude. I mean, you're not getting your whole arm on there. It's not happening. I mean, as far as
yeah, I can see how that works.
Did like whenever you got your hand out, did you think like I need to wash this immediately?
yes, yeah.
You're all.
No,
I hope I don't go to prison within the next
Man,
3 minutes.
I don't know if I should say this next.
Keep going.
Oh man.
Yes,
Yes, you should.
Viewer discretion advised. TVMA.
You
Yeah, I
really
don't.
should.
I don't. Oh, dude. So after she wanted me to try anal, she was very
Her ass or your ass?
hers, and she was like,
How to specify?
yeah, she
I had to
was
specify.
very, very persuasive about it. She really wanted it, and I was like, I'm not that. And she was like, No, I need you to do this, and
It's a
So-
part of the agreement.
and
It's
I
gonna
did
happen.
not have that like.
You already fisted me. You can't bitch out now.
Well, I'm like,
You're
well,
too deep.
we've already,
You're
you know,
too deep.
We've already crossed a bridge.
Yeah.
You down to cross another bridge?
let's
You done
keep
to
it
cross
going,
this
I
moat
guess.
I
too?
just let you.
I'm like,
fist
we
my
might as
vagina.
well. Yeah, so
The least you could
She's
do
all-
is
she's all, well, you've
stick
already
your
taken
cock
this
in my
bridge.
ass.
So I started doing it.
Oh
and
fuck! My cousin's watching.
and,
Sorry, Kathleen.
let's just say, at the
I'm
end
glad my
of the
mom's not
event,
tuning in.
at the end of the event, there was some poop, and
Oh, God.
I was grossed the hell out.
Oh my
And she was
god!
like, "Well, come on! If you stuck your finger in your nose, you might have a booger on afterward, right?" So,
no.
yeah.
So her
You've
ass
never stuck your
wasn't
finger.
clean, is what you're saying.
There was a little bit of poop, and it grossed me out, and that was the end of that.
Oh.
I was like, "Yeah, that's not happening."
Did you like
anymore.
never? Did you ever?
What
Did you
the
talk to her again?
fuck?
Did you guys like? I don't know about this girl. She's too crazy for me. Or did you guys go back at it?
Well, I mean, we'd been together a while.
How long is a while?
I don't want to give too many details because
No,
I
don't
want-
give us her name.
Yeah, no.
How long's a while?
That was enough.
How long's
Somebody
a while?
else talk about how they eat hot pockets or something.
Cheetos dust in your chest.
Somebody talk about how they eat hot pockets or something.
Yeah, what's y'all's guilty pleasures?
Oh, so those were your guilty pleasures. You're a sick man.
No, those
I'm
were
not a
just-
sick man. She
You're a
asked-
sick man.
She asked for it.
She asked for it.
What I want to do,
I can't
guys.
fucking breathe.
I want to talk. I want to talk.
Ben, what is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is not that good. I mean, compared
Oh
to, I
my
can't follow up that
gosh.
story with my guilty pleasure.
What is your guilty
Um,
pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is like, there's certain like bands I listen to. Heather kind of said it a little while ago. I listen to
The Beebs.
the Beebs every once in a while. Yeah, not like on his whole like playlist or anything. I don't got like a playlist or his
You
poster.
celebrate his entire collection. Don't lie. It's okay.
Ben secretly has an
Gotta
album
give
of his in
respect
his
where respect
closet.
is due.
What's up, Kathleen? That's my cousin.
What up, cuz?
What's up, cuz?
What's up, cuz?
What up, cuz?
I think everybody's got like
Oh,
that band
motherfucker.
they really like, but
You
they
know-
don't tell anyone.
Okay, you know
but
what?
That
You know what?
comes on and they're like,
I'm gonna tell y'all one right now for myself.
oh yeah,
I actually 100% love Nickelback.
for real?
Dead serious. I love Nickelback. Dead fucking serious. Everybody gives them shit, but you know what? Those guys are fucking awesome.
I used to listen to Nickelback when I was a kid.
Speaking of fist,
Then I grew up. No, I'm just kidding. I can't give you too much shit for that either.
Okay, so I like mine is Nickelback. Like I love Nickelback. I jam them at work. People are like, "You're gay," and I'm like, "I don't give a fuck. These guys are awesome." And my other guilty pleasure is I love Vanessa Carlton's song "1,000 Miles." You turn that shit up, I will fucking dance. I love that song. All I hear is making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and I'm homebound. Stand back, we had to making my way to the ground.
we now have
And I need
blackmail
And I
forever for
miss you.
Scout
Forever and ever.
on
And
tape.
now I
We can play this
wonder-
back.
No, dude, seriously, I love that song. It won't embarrass me. I'm not embarrassed by it whatsoever. I'm totally open about it. I love Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles.
It's definitely a guilty pleasure.
That is my big time guilty pleasure. I'm so guilty about it. I love it.
All right.
Damn.
Ben, okay, so Sports Junkie.
Yeah, what did you got for us, Junkie?
So it's funny. Chris Price actually has mine. Jersey Shore. I watched Jersey
Oh,
Shore from
oh
like,
my
fuck,
God.
and Heather. Look
Very
what Heather
start.
said.
What?
Wait, you watched Jersey Shore?
from the start to the finish, baby, and every other reunion show there was.
You're a loser.
Nah, I felt better about myself after watching the show a lot.
He's like, oh, wow, I'm not a meatbag like I thought I was. That's cool.
Who's your favorite character?
Oh, if you-
Paulie D.
I knew you were
Pauly
gonna say
D?
fucking
DJ
Pauly
Paulie
D.
D.
Dude, I knew you were gonna say Pauly
Vinny's
D.
a close second, and then I don't know if you watched the situation, man. He went to jail
For
Oh,
what?
you did?
for tax fraud or tax
Oh, I
evasion.
thought it was for like beating up a hooker or something.
But he also got sober and changed his life, which was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, he did.
That's pretty cool.
He did
You know,
Where did he get
Even
sober
when I-
from? Pills?
hey,
both.
speaking of sports news, didn't the guy from Jackass, Steve-O, who got sober, didn't he do some kind of sports something?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's been sober 10 years now, and he did a triathlon.
Oh, he did triathlon? Is that what he
Yeah, he did a triathlon. It was like for like 10 miles or some shit.
Nice.
Oh wait. Well, he celebrated his 10 years sobriety with triathlon.
That's
And,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
in L.A. This is the 32nd annual Nautica Malibu.
Hashtag good
Triathlon.
job, Steve-O.
Yeah, good
Way to
job,
go,
dude.
Congrats,
That's
bro.
O as in a big O.
Oh.
Oh.
Dude, did everyone else have like a friend named Steve-O after that show?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
He's actually a famous photographer now.
Yeah.
My buddy
You had to have,
Steve-O,
like, a buddy Steve-O.
I met my buddy Steve-O like 10 years, 11 years, 12 years ago now. Almost 12 years ago. And he was a big fat kid. Just like he was like 18. Next thing you know, I saw him like 3 years later and was 21, and he's living in Houston as a photographer doing photo ops for shows. Like last one I saw him do was for like Audio Slave. He did one for Cradle of Filth, Five Finger Death Punch, even Bone Thugs and Harmony, which I was actually at that
Bone
concert. Didn't even know he was there. But he got so big, he actually moved to L.A. and does photoshops there. Does photo shoots there for shows and concerts and bands.
That's badass.
And next thing you know, he's fucking traveling across the world with him and his fiance are traveling, doing shows and taking photos and making a lot of money off it. He did it really well for himself, especially coming from a guy who lived in Kerrville.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That used to be kind of what I wanted to do. I used to like go to shows and be like, man, I wish I could get paid to just go to shows.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I should start interviewing the bands and taking pictures. And people don't buy magazines anymore. Like, when I was younger, you'd read about your favorite bands in magazines and whatever. But I was thinking, what if I did a show like this or something?
Kathleen,
bands.
call in at 978-543-0405.
Kathleen got something for us?
Well,
I would
guys,
like to hear what the fuck you got to say
I
about
think-
cops as your guilty pleasure.
I think it's about time
show
to
she's talking
welcome our
about.
next guest. on the
Oh,
show.
boy.
Yeah?
I'm excited for this one.
What up, Michael
Okay,
Six Kids?
so we
super
have a
excited.
super guest coming in next. One of our
Junkie
favorites.
Let me grab
He
my-
is one of our greatest guys in the world, whole wide world. He's a big name in the underground music scene. Also, he wants to talk to us about flat Earth and how he believes in it. So, introducing the Mr. SICKBOY. When he grits the microphone, he's so fucking fly. Sick boy.
Woo! Sick boy, sick.
Let me see that bag.
Yo, cut the check in the chit chat. I'm about to break you off like a Kit Kat. Yeah, spit more fresh than a Tic Tac. This shit hit hard like a bitch slap. Yo, let me get back to the sick rap. Mix that with a six pack and a thick stack. Yeah, big cheese for the big rat. If you got a messed up weed, let me fix that. Tell me what a chick's at, cause I'm tryna bone. If not, then I might settle for some Joan. Slide on me like a slide trombone. You can ride on me while I ride on chrome. We can ride on home, get back to your little one. Ain't you glad that we both had a little fun? Gotta go cause now I see a little sun. Call me up sometime, we can chill some.
What up, sick boy?
What's up, you floppy horse dick bastards?
Holy shit.
That's right.
I was not expecting that.
Dude, we got a
whatsoever.
celebrity. Nice.
Yeah, we're awesome. So, I don't know if y'all know this, but we have some big news coming up for the next few weeks. We have music artists coming on the show next week, and we have a music band coming on the following week. But so tonight, since we're talking about flat Earth, and we have my buddy
Flat
Sickboy here, we're also going to talk about underground music talk, about the underground music live venues and how the underground music world is like.
So I have something to say first.
Cool.
A lot of times we introduce our guests and we have them like talk about like where they come from, what's their story and everything. But the biggest thing, because the biggest thing about Sick Boy that I want to know right now that is the most valuable information I can know is what's with that bag of
Yeah, what the fuck is with that?
that bag of
He's
sunflower
chewing
seeds.
sunflower seeds and spitting them in the bag. They don't get all over your floor.
That
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, respect.
I've never brought like a bag of like sunflower seeds to a show before. That is just like fucking cool. Like it's kind of like you know how people used to chew like dip at like fucking baseball games. It's like nah, dude.
Everyone's got their thing.
I have the seeds.
This is high level shit, bro.
It's next level.
We've increased the production of this show tenfold.
Oh man, I'm gonna get some seeds from now on.
We need to get sponsored.
Oh,
One
dude,
day.
yeah.
We need a seed sponsor.
I'll be your seed sponsor.
I fell into that one. Oh, damn.
But you better fist me first.
Oh God.
The first fist is always free.
Okay,
Holy
so
crap.
Sick Boy. Let's talk about Sick Boy here. His real name, in case you all want to know, his name is Lance. Totally will blow your mind if you didn't know that was his name. He's a real great guy. Been one of my best friends for 11 years now. Yeah.
He's like, I wouldn't say best friends.
No, we really have
I'll
been.
fuck with you.
Yeah, we're family, bro. So when I met you, the first time I ever heard you do, in case you guys don't know, Sick Boy is his alter ego. He was a rapper, or he still is a rapper. He makes music today in home. When I first met him, was some place had all his bling on. So I went and saw a show that he was doing at this bar on Fredericksburg. I forget what it was, and he was performing, and I was like, "Whoa, this guy's fucking good, like really good." He gave me a CD of his shit, but I didn't know that was really him. I thought it was some random guy he found on YouTube or some shit. This guy's amazing. So, Lance, I want you to tell us what was your life like doing all that? Like what was going through your head doing all this shit, creating music and creating beats and writing verses and all that. Give us the whole inside of all that,
Bro, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing during that whole time period. I was just winging it as I was going along. I had my little 15 minutes, here and there. And, I still fuck around a little bit, but I think, looking back, it was a means to an end. And it kind of prepared me, I think, for a lot of other things. But
like what?
Flat Earth.
Oh God, we'll talk about that later.
I'm excited about the flag.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Just from a standpoint of, I think, people, when people start dabbling in music, especially like hip hop and rap in that genre, I think that they get kind of like a false idea and false ideals about like what should come of that, and they're not. This is not for everybody, but a vast majority of people have unrealistic expectations. And I think that, it taught me a lot about like work ethic and doing something, taking up an activity or a hobby that builds character. Like, how you guys have this, you guys are dabbling in media and something like that. And it's about like not peaking and coming up with something, whether you do art or whether you write poetry or scripts or whatever you do, short films or sculpting or whatever the fuck you do, that those things, just because you don't become rich and famous or don't have any kind of notoriety based on that, the act of artistic expression itself builds character in the long run. That's what I learned.
Hell
So,
yeah.
so there was something that at the Grammys Drake had said live on the air. He had said something along the lines of, "I know a lot of artists are trying to get out there and put their music out there, trying to make it in the music business. But the fact is, what making it really is if you're getting people with regular jobs, regular Joe Schmoes that are coming to your shows, rain, shine, or snow, whatever the condition is, and paying buku's a lot amount of money just to come see you perform, no matter what it is, you've made it just because of that one single fan. And if you have more there coming to see you, just you, I mean, you've already made it. No money, no contracts, no awards can tell you that you've made it. How do you see about that?
Dude, I agree with that 100%. We lived it. You were there.
Yeah.
We had the best of times during those intervals.
Dude, Houston, Austin, South by Southwest. That was the best one.
Wait, what? You guys are in South by Southwest?
Oh, okay. You want to tell them that story?
Here's the short version.
Yeah, here's the short version.
We went to South by Southwest. We fucking lied our asses off, and they let us chill backstage.
No shit.
Yeah. This was back when I was doing drugs. Still.
So you guys got backstage and you were with all the like different bands and the artists out there.
Dude, we were hanging out with Fish.
Dude,
They were
Fishbone.
fucking smoking weed.
I got high with Fishbone.
Bam Margera.
What?
Yeah, we met Bam Margera.
Yellow Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
No shit.
Straight
Scout-
Truth.
We met Mars Lovejoy as well, and I got to actually interview her.
Scout, did you just say you got high with Fishbone?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, he passed me a blunt. We were smoking in the hallway.
holy crap. That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, it was me and my buddy Spencer from college.
Scout's all, yeah, I fucking did his taxes last year.
Dude, that's
Okay,
awesome.
so Lance, this one's something people don't really know. You actually opened up for Lil Wayne about almost 10 years ago to this year.
That was in 2009.
Yeah.
At the American Bank Center in Corpus Christi. A good buddy of mine called me out there. They were doing this competition, and I drove down there, and I performed this song. There was like over 200 contestants, people that were trying to perform to open up in this competition for Lil Wayne, and lo and behold, I won. And dude, shit hit the fan. People were pissed off because I wasn't directly living there at the time, so they felt
Yeah.
that it shouldn't have gone to somebody that was from out of town. But
Fuck them.
we had fun.
I still do this shit.
So,
Fuck it.
so what was it like opening up for Lil Wayne at that time? Because at that moment, at that time in history, Lil Wayne was a huge ordeal, like huge thing.
He
He's
still
very
is.
popular. Yeah, well, he still is, but he's not as big as he was then.
You don't think so?
No.
Wait, this is
Now
like, you
it's
said 2009?
2009. That was
Okay.
like when the Carter 2 came out, or the Carter 4, whatever the fuck it was, and Miss Officer came out, and Young Money was just about to be formed, or just formed. That was back then. So what song did you perform at the opening up for Lil Wayne?
We did put some cheese on it.
But wait, put some cheese on it.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is that?
You heard that.
Yeah, but should I play it for the rest of people out there?
I mean, if you have it. I mean, a lot of these old fucking songs were, looking back, they have not aged well. But,
No.
you know, we were trying to do something that would get the crowd hype and involved and stuff. Cause
I'm gonna play it a little bit in the background for people to hear it.
Now,
I forgot all my fucking words, too, on the stage. And I was so nervous. And it was like, you know, the crowd was,
How many people was it?
it was the American Bank Center. There was a
Dude,
fucking
yeah,
stadium.
it's a fucking huge center like the Alamo Dome and the AT&T Center.
Oh shit, it like sold out, right?
Dude, it's the place where WWE Raw is live at when they go to Corpus Christi. It's like a fucking it's a stadium. That's what it is. It's a huge stadium. It can fit like what is it like 10,000, 15,000 people in there.
God damn.
Yeah, and that's including the floor and all the seats. But this song is called "Put Some Cheese on It." It's actually a song that was really popular when we were traveling.
So you're saying that like okay, so you're on stage, you started playing the
Queso.
song, and you forgot all the words.
Forgot all these words. And I was just having to freestyle on the fucking stage.
Oh no shit.
No. Who knows what the fuck I said?
Okay, so so one thing
Taco
I
Bell
had a
menu.
question about is what was your biggest, or I'll take it back. Well, yeah, what was your biggest influence to do music? Like what inspired you to do that?
Probably my dad. You know, he had his 15 minutes when he was growing up. He had
Oh,
a band
really?
called Clyde and the Other Side.
What?
Yeah, and I think that they were selected to do the Dick Clark show.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
Whoa.
and he kind of had, you know, to choose between that or, you know, raising a family essentially. So he never really got to live that out, but he would play Creedence Clearwater Revival, and
I love
he would-
CCR.
he would play these old folk songs like Polk Salad Annie and Big Bad Leroy Brown and shit like that.
Oh shit.
And then, you know, my mom she listened to a lot of contemporary music at the time, like the Gap Band and Rick James and Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson and shit like that. And I just, those were, I think, and then, you know, I discovered Insane Clown Posse a little bit after that when I was like in high school. And those are the things that kind of formed the nucleus of my taste.
Man. Okay, so one more question about music, and then we're gonna get back onto we're gonna get to the main topic tonight. One question is that I already know this story, but I want the rest of the world to know the story of where does the name SICKBOY come from? Like, how did you come up with that?
Okay, well, it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy where, okay, I was in jail one time.
Oh shit.
And I was so depressed. I was in the holding cell. I did not want to eat. And they were like, you got to eat something. You can't fucking eat nothing. And they had the Salisbury steak that night. And I ate that Salisbury steak, and I got so fucking sick. I was completely burning up. And, you know, in those holding cells, they have those steel beds.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're like, and
So
they
it's like
keep it
cold as
Yeah,
fuck.
they keep it cold as fuck in there. Everybody's freezing balls off. I'm literally butt naked laying on that thing because it was the only thing that could cool off my body. And I was puking and throwing up blood. And and the COs come over there, and you know the people that are inmates that are in there are helping me out, and they're like, hey, you know, you guys got to come over. You guys got to get him to a hospital. This kid's gonna fucking die in here. We got a sick boy in here. And they came over there and they threw some fucking Pepto-Bismol underneath the door, and they were like praying over me and shit. Anyways, they ended up throwing me back into population, and they were like, hey, are you the sick boy that was gonna die up there? And this is in Hondo, Texas, so some of these people I knew from the surrounding, you know, rural areas of, you know, down by Divine and Hondo and Pearsall and all that shit. And it just kind of stuck from there. And I kind of like adopted it and molded it to be like, if I'm going to be a rapper, then, you know, I'm like sick and my rhymes are ill or whatever the fuck.
Oh, man. That is exactly how we told the story to me and Juan. Don Juan, who's been on our ghost hunting story. It's actually me, Lance, and Juan. We're part of the Three Amigos. And now we have Tony, and we have more people that are joining our group. But that's exactly the story he told us. And it still gets me every time. I love it. So, you guys ready for the main topic tonight?
Dude, I am.
Ready.
Because I know the main reason we wanted to bring Sick Boy on is because he's actually kind of an expert on this.
All right, guys. Next up, we're talking about... What?
Flat fucking Earth.
Flat Earth!
Dude, I'm so curious about what people are going to say.
Okay, so... What the fuck is flat Earth?
Oh.
I assume it's just a flat Earth, but what the fuck is this conspiracy bullshit about? I don't understand it. I've seen pictures, I've seen things on YouTube, and I've heard people talk about it. I just don't understand it. All right.
So let's.
The fuck is it?
How do we explain it to our entire listening audience in a level?
This is the Earth. This is how they see it.
Hey, grab
Flat.
that fucking green top over there in that pink can over there by you, Tony.
Okay.
Hold that up.
So
If you could imagine that the center of that green fucking lid is the North Pole,
okay.
and everywhere away from that center point is south.
What?
Yeah.
Everywhere you go is always south.
Yep. And so, if you were to circumnavigate that, or if you were to travel in that like Magellan, or in a plane or something from east to west, you would be doing concentric circles around that center point.
Okay.
And you have to understand is that and there is no model. You know, there's only inference. But I think a lot of people get attached to the idea when people start bringing this up is like, show me something that I can wrap my head around, that I can identify with, because currently we only have one thing that people identify with, and that is the globe model, the heliocentric model.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I don't think flat earthers are so much trying to define what it is as so much trying to explain the inconsistencies of what it's not.
Okay. See, because...
And I know that's not very satisfying. I know people want to be like, dude, show fucking something. If you guys have, you know, a theology or an idea about this, present something. And, you know, there's inconsistencies with what I was just showing you. But that's like a rough idea to kind of get you introduced into.
So do most people approach the flat earth theory by trying to disprove flat earth or trying to disprove the regular, like, you know, circular earth? Or do they try to get facts of why this is, you know, possible? Are they trying to disprove each other, or are they trying to, like, prove their argument?
I don't know. You know, there's so much fucking shit that you gotta just kind of know before you start kind of tapping into this. And when I started looking at it, this is back in 2015, I had to accept how much I did not know about basic shit.
Right.
And, a lot of people will clown and say, flat earthers don't know shit about science. And it's actually the exact opposite from what I found. I've had to learn fucking everything about the history of heliocentrism and where that comes from and those ideas before I can even present thoughts counter to that.
Because from what I
Makes sense.
understand, the original thought that we had before we came up with the model that we have now was that original was flat Earth, and then Aristotle, like 340 BC, he took two things. There was two things he noticed, and this is where he came up with the whole. This is where his whole thing was. He said, "This is why I think the Earth is a sphere." It was that when there's an eclipse of the moon, and that means the Earth is moving between, is blocking the sun, and we can see the shadow of the Earth on the moon. And he said, okay, if it was a flat disk, then it would be ellipsis. Like if you held like a quarter and you held the shadow, then it would elongate. But instead, it stayed a perfect circle, which meant that as the sun passed it, that meant either the sun was exactly in one position at all times, and the moon was, it wouldn't stay a perfect circle across the moon. It would elongate. And he said that's why he thought it was a sphere. And the other thing was, back in those days, the Greeks, when they would go from Greece and Egypt, they noticed the pole star was in different positions in the northern and southern hemisphere. So they said, well, it's changed positions, so that must mean that the land structure we're on is elevating. It's doing this number. So those were his two things. But I got to say this: the guy who came up with that idea also did think that everything revolved around the Earth.
Right.
He said that we were the center of the universe, and the sun and everything else. That was also part of that theory, which of course now we reject. But I think science, in order for science and to work, we always have to have an open mind and be willing to throw, like, if the facts prove something different, we can't just go with a popular opinion. We have to go with what the facts actually prove, or else it's not really science.
You bring up an interesting point, and this was one of the things that I ran into very early on that I had trouble reconciling, is that I had always been taught to use a fallacy, which is appeal to consensus, which is science says.
Yeah.
And I would speak in terms like that. And science doesn't say anything. It doesn't have vocal cords. It's not a person, and it's a method. It's a methodology, and there's a method for proving things empirically, which is referred to as the scientific method, as everybody knows.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, well, what scientific evidence is there, for these notions? And there isn't any.
For the notions of the circular Earth or of the flat Earth,
Spherical versus flat.
Here's another thing you guys got to get is, some people say, well, the Earth is round. Well, round is a two-dimensional object. So if you're going to be referring to the Earth as a three-dimensional object, you have to use the term sphere, globe, or you could get caught in semantics if you're debating somebody.
Because honestly, I believe that the Earth is a sphere. Because I mean, the fact is, if it's flat, where the fuck are the edges?
Well, and you bring up a good point too, is talking about belief, and I'm trying to tie it back to Tony's point, is that in order to prove something scientifically, you have to adhere to the scientific method.
Right.
And we have to look at
theory, hypothesis.
Yeah, we have to look at what are the scientific experiments that have been done to prove sphericity on the Earth.
So from my understanding, what we use to prove it now is the fact that we've actually been to the curvature of the Earth. We've flown up into space and either taken pictures, or we can, when you're in a plane, you can kind of see the curvature.
You cannot see the curvature of the Earth from the altitude of a private passenger plane. You should be able to see it from certain planes, and you guys can look this up on YouTube. There's certain planes that reach, because a commercial aircraft is only going to fly at 33,000 feet, maybe 50,000 feet. And depending on who you ask, and that's another thing is I started seeing so many contradictions of what people are saying, and theoretically, yes, you should be able to notice discernible curvature from the outside of a passenger plane.
Right.
but I can't. I mean, if I'm, and you guys know I fly all the time. If I put a piece of paper up to the window, the shit is flat as fuck. And you can even go higher than that. There's a lot of footage of high altitude balloons that even go up to 160,000 feet.
God damn,
That's
160.
Yeah, and that's flat as shit too. You kind of have to get to where can you see the Earth in its entirety before you can start saying it's officially a ball.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the only way to falsify that is to go up there yourself, which I know we got tons of pictures.
Yeah.
And that was another thing is the first fucking thing I did was, well, we got tons of fucking pictures of this shit. Let me just go and Google that. And I was shocked at the amount of computer generated artistry that were done by satellite mapping of the terrain.
Because they have to be composite, right?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them are and they will openly admit this.
Yeah.
That,
what up, Harry?
That these are these are composite images. Even when you look at things like the pictures of the Hubble telescope, that deep field of when you're looking out and they have all those quasars and galaxies and clusters in one little picture. That is not exactly the way that picture was received. And if you took the color correction off of there and the artist's rendering, it's just a fucking blob. It's completely discernible. All those pillars of creation and all those fucking nebulas and star nurseries and shit like that, they don't look like that. Those are artist renderings of how they would interpret it if we could capture that within the visible light spectrum. Because they're just capturing that shit in the ultraviolet spectrum.
So, if the Earth is flat, let's say the Earth is flat, and these planets that are in our solar system, are they flat as well?
I don't know, bro. But here's another thing that I started looking at, is that the methodology used to discern and to come up with these ideas is what is commonly referred to as deductive-based reasoning. I'll give you guys an example. Descartes was the first one to say, "I think, therefore I am."
Right.
So when Copernicus looks out and he sees objects that appear to be round or spherical, it could be either or. You don't really know unless you go there, but I guess it could be deduced that they're spherical in nature.
Okay.
So these wandering stars that we're noticing, this is Copernicus. This is his logic, and you guys can kind of follow along. Planets are spheres. The Earth is a planet. Therefore, the Earth is a sphere. And that's called deductive-based reasoning or logic.
Right.
Well, the only problem with that is that's called
deductive-based logic.
Yeah, deductive-based logic. No, that's called the syllogism. Those three things. So in order for the third one to be true, the premise has to be 100% true. If planets are not spheres and they're just lights in the sky, well then it all falls apart from there.
Right.
Yeah, I read that in logic as well. When you're doing arguments, that would be a valid argument, but it may not be an actual, like logically speaking, it would make sense, but it may not be a rational argument.
Exactly. You could say something like, only women can have babies. Sarah is a woman, so Sarah has a baby. Well, Sarah may not have a fucking baby.
Yeah.
But
or
she
like,
can.
Sarah has a baby. Sarah is a human, therefore all humans have babies.
That's a known, yeah.
But that's not, it's kind of using that kind of logic where Copernicus kind of said.
And, the heliocentric model and all these guys that came before, all of these dudes are using that same methodology. I'll give you guys a real quick pop quiz. How do we know the distance to the sun?
Honestly, I have no idea how they came up with that figure.
Anybody want to take a guess in the chat?
Probably light years.
Well, I know everyone out there has Google and they can be looking up the answer right now and be correct. But I'm assuming that
we did just have 12 followers and now we have 11.
We use a lot of things like we're studying the radio waves and the wave patterns that we're looking at in distance. And we can probably think about how long it takes light to reach something. And,
I'll give you guys the answer.
We got an echo.
There was a guy by the name of Christian Huygens.
Okay.
So in order to triangulate the distance to anything, you got to know the size of something relative to us.
Okay.
So what Christian Huygens did was he looked at Venus and he said, hey, Venus is the same size as Earth, and then you can triangulate the distance to the sun. But first you have to
Have a reference point.
Yeah. So how does he know that Venus is the same size as Earth?
Yeah, how do you figure that out from the first place?
That is one thing. What is the flat Earth space model? Like, what are we looking at if the Earth is indeed this flat disk, and us, we're here? What are we looking at when I look up and see the stars? What is the flat Earth space model?
I don't know, but if you want to look back to going back to experiments in science, you guys can look up the Michelson-Morley, Michelson-Gale, Michelson-Sagnac experiments, where what they did was they took a device known as an interferometer, and it's basically, it shoots lasers, and it shoots one going west, which, these are the things that you have to adopt if you're adopting the heliocentric model. We're spinning 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, and not only that, but the Earth is also traversing in an elliptical path around the sun at 66,000 miles per hour. And then not only that, but the universe itself, the Milky Way galaxy, is traveling at astronomical speeds as well, and into the millions. So what they were trying to discern is, well, if the Earth is actually moving, then there should be some interference patterns if I shoot a laser beam going west, traveling with the direction of the Earth, and then also north as well. And they analyze these interference patterns by how the light beams, they bounce them off mirrors, so they'll come back, and they registered that they were 1/6 off from each other, which was, they're like, if the Earth is moving at those speeds, these should not even be fucking close. These interference patterns should be all over the place, and they're almost right on top of each other.
Because you're saying if I shot something off of this structure as it's moving, like it would be. I get what you're saying.
So, so how did they rectify that? What was their conclusion? What was their outcome based on this experiment? And this is where Einstein came into play, and he developed his theory of relativity.
Right.
Because that 1/6, what was that 1/6? What is it doing? Is it passing through a medium? And this is what they refer to as the ether. That light has to propagate through some kind of medium in order to be able to go anywhere, to do anything. So, I mean, can this be detected? Well, if you're looking at those experiments, those are detected. And then people say that the contrary, that no, those experiments prove that there is no ether. And then Einstein comes along, and he says that, well, here's what happened, and this is so Einstein hired a guy to come and disprove this, and this is what they said, is that we're going to make a mathematical equation called the Lorentz contraction that says, no, see, you guys fucked it all up. This is what happened, is that when something moves through space, the actual device, that interferometer, it contracts, and it throws everything off. And the math works out. And that's usually what happens, is that if something is not cogent, if something doesn't work out the way that it's supposed to, then somebody else comes along and they add these ad hoc mathematical equations.
To try to keep the status quo going.
Yes.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
So all these different kind of like technology that we've invented to try to prove this stuff, do you think it could be just like human error of like how we've made the devices?
Bro, I don't know. I mean, when you look at the timeline of exploration and government interaction and the formation of NASA, and you follow along with the narrative, what it looks like to me is that sometime around in the 1950s, when Admiral Byrd was doing polar expeditions, going out there with these multi-million-dollar government contracts, every ship, helicopter, plane you could think of, tons of men, tons of boats, tons of resources. They go down there in Operation Fishbowl. Operation Fishbowl was shooting the nukes into the sky, but Operation High Jump, and they're out there, and you can look this up. Admiral Byrd, when he comes back, he does a an interview on this thing called the Long Jeans Chronoscope, which is kind of like 60 minutes of the day. And he's telling them, dude, we're out there. There's so much land. There's so many resources. There's petroleum. There's oil. There's all these natural resources. And he feared that countries were actually going to start warring over this shit. And he said that there shouldn't be that much mass of land out there unexplored. And you can actually watch the documentary of them going out there and discovering fucking utopias. And when we think about Antarctica, we think about it as this, plot of nothing, this fucking
Just
barren
ice.
wasteland of
Yeah.
ice. And it's not like that.
With
There's-
one penguin and a bear getting a Coke.
Exactly. There's fucking there's fresh water with temperatures that you could just jump in with a fucking swimsuit, and there's lush greenery and there's patches where there's no ice, and they're deep out there, and he wanted to keep going further, but they just didn't have the resources to do it, so they had to come back, and then right after that, NASA's formed, and then they're doing their thing, and then we go into the Mercury missions. I know you guys were talking about the Challenger, and then you look at Apollo, and then you start getting to all the moon shit, and then there's so many more questions when it comes to that, and it's like they were trying to figure something out at that time. Because think about it, up until that point, what do we really have to go on? All these fucking deduction-based arguments based on the mathematicians and the astronomers of old. We needed a fucking picture of this thing in order to conclude persuasively and end this fucking discussion once and for all. This is what it is. Look at it. And that's what that's what the whole thing was.
I don't think most people even know how much unexplored stuff. We don't know what's at the bottom of we can't go to the bottom of our own ocean. We can't do it. We've hit trench bottoms, but there's still so much unexplored ocean, and the vastness of space. Like, there's so much undiscovered, unexplained stuff that we have all these theories and ideas, but
right, space is in and of itself is unexplained. So, one of the things that has to be rectified when you're thinking about these flat Earth ideas and geocentric ideas is, how do you rectify having an Earth that has an atmosphere which is essentially superglued to it, and then at some point that atmosphere ceases to exist and you have a vacuum of space? How do you have gas pressure next to a vacuum? It would be tantamount to going to Home Depot.
I kind of see that.
You go to Home Depot and you ask them for some compressed air. Would you tell them, hey, just go ahead and leave give it to me without the canister? That's essentially what we're talking about here. And then you get into arguments about, well, there's pressure gradients, and then it becomes circular reasoning where, well, how do you have gas pressure without a container?
I think like the way I would be able to comprehend it, that somewhere would kind of be logically for me, is what they say about gravity. I'm not sure how that ties into flat Earth theory, but like we have gravity because of the mass of the Earth. They say pulls in, has like its own like force because it's so big. So maybe the force of the Earth is able to contain and push in some of those gases. That's what I could think of.
There could be some force known as gravity, but when you look back at it, what do we have as scientific proof for gravity? Do you guys know? Anybody want to take a shout out in the chat? What is the one experiment that we have that we are currently using as the de facto proof for gravity? Newtonian gravity.
Newtonian.
Because then you got to get into that. There's two different types of gravity. You got fucking Newtonian gravity, which is mass attracting mass, and then you have Einsteinian gravity, which is the theory of relativity, which is curvature of space-time. And how do those two, one is, leeching off the other, even though it seems to be contradictory. But in respects to Newtonian gravity, I don't see anybody putting it in the chat. So I'll give you guys the answer, and you guys can look this up for yourself. But what we're currently using is the balls in the shed. Whoa, what is it?
Bowels in the shed. Sound like a song.
I have a lot of people going off in the
Talking about the-
discussion, and
the
we're gonna have to try to
experience?
pull some of these discussion people in. I have so many people texting me and messaging me.
All I heard was balls and discussion. That's gonna be the next song from Team Red Eye. Balls and discussion.
Don't forget, all of you right now are able to like Google half of this stuff and be sending us different information. You know,
Hey
one of
guys,
the-
don't forget to call in live at
Yeah,
978-543-0405.
It's blowing my mind that we don't have a caller yet arguing. 978-543-0405. You know, one of the other things, like even in the times of the ancient Greek, and one of the reasons they thought it was a sphere, they were looking out in the distance and a boat was sailing into the port, you would see the top of the mast first, and then as the boat was revealed, it would come. So it looked like it was coming up a gradient of a sphere in the distance. What do you think about like the discernible, like if I climb like a really high? I mean, I know that topography, you know, can do all kinds of things.
Right. So when you're doing observations, and you're wanting to capture or observe obstruction
Right.
from blockage of the earth, basically what we're talking about is looking out over a long distance and things that are getting covered up by the curvature of the earth. What is that about? You know, and like you said, one of Aristotle's first proofs was that, you know, ships, when they sail off into the distance, they disappear hull first. Well, the only problem with that is that now they're looking out and they're using these telephoto lenses
Yeah.
with amazing zoom capabilities, where once you see the object disappear hull first or bottom first,
Yeah.
you zoom in and it comes right back into focus.
I saw a video with that actually.
There's tons of them.
Yeah.
So, you know, people had to come back, and they had to combat this, like, hey, what the fuck's going on here? Well, now there's two things that are kind of, you know, this is one of the hottest topics. If you're going to try to debate this, you got to kind of know this stuff. The first thing is that, Scout, if me and you went to Home Depot or Walmart right now, and we took your camera phone and we put the camera down on the ground, and I went walking 300 feet away from it, then my shoes would disappear first. That's anybody can do that experiment.
Yeah.
Or it's not an experiment; it's a fucking observation. But
I'm talking about field of vision.
well, field of vision, but more specifically, the diffraction limit.
Okay.
And Ben, you kind of know about this stuff. You know about aperture, and you know about perspective.
Absolutely.
And I think everybody kind of knows this, is that the further you look out, things seem to kind of converge. If you imagine going into a hallway, you see the roof, it looks like it's going down. The floor looks like it's going up. The walls look like it's going in. Mm-hmm. That is your perspective. That's what it looks like it's doing. That's not what it's actually doing. But over these long distance observations, they're starting to notice that at the horizon, things are becoming compressed, and they're getting almost squished, because it doesn't matter how big or how far you can look. Eventually, your angular resolution is going to keep going down, and it's going to smush it down. And that's why things disappear into the distance. It doesn't necessarily have to be that Earth is spherical.
It's just the capability of our eyes.
Exactly.
Weird.
I remember when we were talking, we stayed up till like 5 a.m. out that one time. We went out to Corpus Christi talking about this stuff, and you're blowing my mind, because all this stuff is to me, you see, I don't know enough information. I haven't researched enough about it, but a lot of it to me seems plausible. Like you said, it's, how am I to say it's any less plausible than the information they bring back or bring up for a spherical Earth? You know, all the information is already there, and this whole thing about like NASA having these pictures of the Earth that they send up from space. I've never been to space. You know, we were watching a documentary. They also said too, like every rocket that's ever been launched into the Earth is never actually, or from the Earth has never actually made it into space. They always come back down.
I don't know, man. The Kármán line, when you that's the term, that's the scientific term for when you cross that line, you're officially in outer space. And that's about 62 miles above the Earth's surface. Now, you can look at missions like the space shuttle missions, you know, where they're hauling supplies back and forth to the ISS. You can see the fucking ISS. If you got a long enough zoom, you can point it up there, and you know you can go on websites. You could actually see the thing flying across.
Okay.
Is there anybody up there? Maybe there is. And is there such a thing as, you know, there's a lot of pictures of people in these spacecraft, you know, purportedly, allegedly, in operating in zero-G environments where they're doing water and fire and flipping around and all that shit. And you know, I had to look at, well, how do I rectify that? Like, what the hell's going on there? And you know, a lot of flat earthers will run and point and say that it's either fake, they're using wires. There's a lot of video out there that you can look up where you can see that there's some funny shit going on with locomotion and mechanics inside there, where it looks like there's fucking wires holding them up.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of inconsistencies there, and I may not be so fast to jump to those conclusions. Some people say that, oh, they're really being filmed in those vomit comets, you know, where they get in those planes, and they do those parabolic flights where you can experience zero-G for, you know, so many minutes. And then when you look at these they're out there in space and they're filming it, they do a lot of jump cuts, and you know about that. Why do you need to cut the image? Why can't you just play it all the way through?
Because there's like an inconsistency before or after whatever footage that you're shooting.
It could be. There could be some kind of, they may go up there, you know, when you look at like what is that, the X-15, these high altitude, and I think Virgin even had one where they went up 330,000 feet into the air.
No shit.
They're way up there. And you can see video of this, and you can look out the cockpit and you can see what appears to be curvature. And then some people are like, see, I can see the curve from these high altitude footages. But then you know this because you operate camera equipment. There's an optical aberration called barrel distortion.
Yeah.
Where straight lines have the tendency to curve because it's having trouble rectifying the image into a straight line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that happens here on the fucking ground. And so when you get higher up and you see a horizon that could be completely flat, but depending on the attitude of the camera, it could go concave, and you see that a lot, and then it could be also convex. And so, man, a lot of that shit is kind of hard, but is there something up there that is electromagnetic in nature that makes people float up there? I don't fucking know. I've never been.
I'm having a request for adding into the show. We're going to try to add
I already
you on.
added them.
You got them?
You're already adding people on? And
Yep.
Okay.
Completely on top of it.
Oh, thank you. Scout, what do you think? I think...
Gimmel says that, good evening, gentlemen. The science can be repeated and reproduced.
Wait a minute.
Scientific method, yeah. Can be reproduced. We have a hypothesis. We do an experiment. It can be reproduced in the same...
So I want to know, what was like one of the key things? What did you... One piece of evidence that you kind of started shifting, like, you know what? This flat earth thing is a high possibility. It is a possibility. What was that one piece of evidence that you kind of saw that you kind of realized, you know what?
You know what really fucked me up is that when I see something that is disingenuous, you know how somebody tells you a white lie?
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck was that about? And you kind of look at that person kind of askance, you know, from then on, and you always kind of have that thing where you said something back then that it wasn't real.
Always throwing me off since then.
Yeah, and I've never been sure about you since then. You know, one of the things that they discovered was that, and you guys can look this up if you want to research this yourself, there was a documentary called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, where during Apollo 11, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, at the time when they were supposed to be entering near lunar orbit, which was July 19th, July 20th, they have footage of them using the window, the viewing window from the Apollo spacecraft, and fashioning the window with a piece of cardboard or something to manufacture a Terminator line to make it look like the Earth is a sphere, and you can watch all this, and there's people like coaching them and telling them like when to talk and like what to say, and then the camera kind of pans out and you see them doing this, and it's like they're only like 100 miles above the Earth's surface when they're supposed to be 213,000 miles away, damn near landing at the moon.
Sorrel Gimmel said that the curvature of the Earth that they have measured is 11 miles based on Copernicus's work. She said the ships faded into the distance at all miles, hence we can calculate the circumference of the Earth, 11 miles. So that kind of goes along with what you were saying.
Here's a formula that blew my mind. Some of you guys may have heard that this shit had already been figured out back with the Greeks.
Yeah.
A famous guy by the name of Aristophanes.
Or Aristotle?
No, Aristophanes was a Greek mathematician who he noticed that in, I believe it was Cyan, a shadow going down into a well, and he wanted to see it at another point. If I put a stick in the ground, will it also have a 90-degree, no shadow? And so he paid a guy to walk there and find out. He traveled, they measured it in stadia, but it came out to 80,000 kilometers, and there was a shadow of 7.2 degrees. So he said, okay, well then, if the Earth is a ball, then I'm going to put 7.2 over 360 times x over the distance, 80,000 kilometers, 7.2 over 360, that reduces down to 1/50th, 50 times 80,000, or 800, 800 kilometers, you get the fucking, the pretty close to the figure that we have now of the diameter of the Earth. And it was like bingo bango, like, dude, this guy figured it out so long ago. And then you look back and you're like, oh, it's just more deductive reasoning. The 7.2 had to be over 360. So that's what's known as a formological fallacy, where you're already assuming the outcome in the actual math itself. So the same thing is true with this. How are these scientists saying, hey, dude, when we are taking these long distance observations and we're seeing shit that should be 2 miles underneath the curvature of the Earth, how are we seeing that? What does science have to say to explain that? And they're like, oh, bro, that's easy. That's that's refraction. That's terrestrial refraction. That's atmospheric looming. What happened is light is being bended over these colder air patterns or currents, and the image is being loomed up to where you can see it. And they have a calculator that will show you, hey, if you're looking at, you put in your elevation where you're standing, you put in how far away the image is, and you punch it all in, and it tells you exactly what you should. Well, what does that calculator automatically presuppose in its calculation?
How far away you are from that, like the curvature, you mean?
Yeah. It automatically includes in the mathematics that the Earth is a ball.
360.
Yeah, it's a ball. So again, it's more formological fallacies. They're I'll give you an example. Sally never lies. We know this because Sally said so. We know this is true because Sally never lies. And it's like every piece of math, they put 7/6 R into that terrestrial refraction formula. And it comes out just fine.
Because it's based on the original structure that proved.
Exactly. It's assuming the outcome.
I'll get you. Okay.
So it's circle jerk.
I just want to stop and say here and add in this little thing. None of us are actually claiming to be 100% experts. I just really would like open discussion about this. And I don't want anyone to be scared to say whatever they think about this, because I think all people should be able to discuss, whatever, because people should be able to discuss all ideas. I think real science is open to all things. Of course, you also get proven wrong, but sometimes you also get proven right. And I think that that open minds are really, really important today.
So how strong do you see, or do you think the flat Earth community is right now? Because I mean, the way I say it is because whenever you approach the information about the flat Earth, it's more from like a logical, reasonable, like factual basis. From what I can see, more than some people are based off emotion and there's like you're fucking stupid if you don't believe the Earth is flat. You know. So you got the real hardcore radical flat earthers, and you got the people who are like, no, this shit is a high possibility.
Well, I mean, think about essentially what you're telling people is that you've been duped, and that doesn't sit right with people. You're talking about when I was in 5th grade, there was a globe sitting on the desk. I watched Bill Nye the Science Guy, so I came up with only one story, and that was the only story that I knew. And then come 2015, I was open-minded enough to learn some of these concepts and some of these things, and it kind of changed my perception a little bit.
Right.
And not everybody is like that. And you can use that with anything: religion, politics, sexual orientation. and
Just so you all know, before we have any kind of fights, we do not discuss politics. We do not discuss religion. If you do, you will be booted from the group. Just saying.
We gotta boot them.
Well,
I will fucking boot them from the live show.
If you're abusive.
Yeah, if you're abusive. If people are kind of throwing here and there, like just to joke around.
Yeah,
it's all right.
we like to fuck around with people. But we don't do politics or religion. If you try to bring that up,
We're not trying
block
to
you from the show.
We don't want to get like aggressive or put other people down. That's not what this is about.
Yeah, this isn't about this. This is just talking freely and talking openly, but not about those things because we like keeping shit positive and interesting. And this is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Now, Tony asked me earlier, what do I think about this?
Yeah, dude.
I think you're fucking nuts, but whatever. I personally,
what else is new?
I personally do not think the Earth is flat. That is my opinion. That is what I have known since I was a kid. I've tried to be open-minded, but I don't believe it.
Dude, that's a lot of... See, right there, if a lot of people could just be intellectually honest enough to just be like, hey, this is what I believe, man. This is what I've been told. I'm going to accept this at face value, and, it checks out to me.
Yeah, until I see solid evidence that doesn't look like a meme, I'm going to believe that the Earth is round and a ball and a sphere, not a fucking frisbee floating in space around the fucking sun that might be a sphere, too.
What's cool about this, though, is there's these paradigms that were taught like at a young age, like Lance was talking about, are things that we all commonly believe as these universal truths. But flat Earth was the paradigm before Aristotle. Like everybody said, like, that's crazy to think anything other than that. So it's interesting to think how things can flip like that. And really, there's popular opinion, and then there's these paradigms, and it takes like a whole generation to destroy an idea that once it becomes like a commonly ingrained thing that everybody else believes this, and I don't want to look stupid in front of Bob over there because Bob's smarter than me. I don't want to look dumb. And so it's scary to have another idea, but I think today it's kind of cool. I like to think that people are more able to talk about things. And you know what? If I'm wrong, if I look stupid, I got to get over it, but I still want to be able to talk about it.
True. So at some point, I would like to talk to an actual scientist.
Yeah.
And I know when I do it, there's a specific somebody who's going to say, oh, well, they're probably a Freemason or some shit. No. I'm going to talk to an actual scientist who studies space and shit.
I want Bill Nye the Science Guy to talk to us.
Well, fuck yeah, I'd like to talk to
what's
him.
funny is I was taking a course in geography while I'm going to school. And I had a professor who he was a doctor. And, one of the first things that we had was an open discussion or an open forum. This is an online class. And I asked him 2 questions. And he said, you guys, give it to me. And I'm pretty sure he kind of anticipated some of these things. He was like, anything that you read in the book, anything that doesn't sit well with you. I asked 2 questions in my discussion. He said, even the kids from the other, from your classmates can answer if you guys know the answer. My first question was, how do we measure the radius of the Earth? Where do we get that number from? And you guys know that radius is measuring from the center of the ball to the outside, to the crust. And, we're all given that book in school that shows the cross-section taken out of the Earth.
I can picture it.
And you got the crust and the mantle and that, yellow core in the middle of molten hot magma. And it's like, well, how do they know that? When we've only dug 8 miles, the Super Cola deep, the Russians did it. And that's the furthest we've ever dug is 8 miles. So we don't really know conclusively what's past that point. So why would they just put that in a textbook and present it as absolute empirical evidence when we truly don't know? And that was one question. They never answered it. The second one was, how do we rectify the Coriolis effect, if the spinning of the Earth has an effect on bullet trajectory and ballistic objects? Why does that same phenomenon not apply to airplanes?
Oh, dude. So, oh man, I need somebody else who's taken physics, because when I was in high school physics, I wanted to know why. Like, say I'm driving in the car and there's a fly on my windshield, and I slam on the brakes. The fly doesn't move off the windshield. He's not. But if I had, so like, why is it within an atmosphere? Things in that moving object. So like, as we are on the Earth, as the Earth is, we're not.
Okay.
Am I making sense?
Here's another one. If you were on the hood of my truck and I was going 60 miles an hour and I slammed on the brakes, you will go flying.
Right.
Forward.
Well, neither of those questions were answered for me, so I had to look it up for myself. And what science will say is that a plane is not a ballistic object, number one, and that its movement through the atmosphere is dictated a lot by mechanics. There's something that
not mechanics like guys who work on cars. You talk about other things.
Right. There's something called an altimeter that tells the plane, how high it is at all times, and it auto-corrects the position. So, I mean, these are things that if you want to get into it and you want to learn about, these are the kind of things you gotta look up. You gotta look up what the Coriolis effect is, and you gotta do your own homework. You can't just appeal to ignorance and say smarter men than me have already figured it out, so it's not my business to think about these things.
Okay.
And it's everybody's personal responsibility. If the educational system truly has not failed us, then everybody kind of has to do their part to know these things. Because if you enter into a debate with somebody that has contradictory views and you don't know much about your side that you're arguing for,
right,
then that is what William James referred to as contempt prior to investigation.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. Because a lot of times, a lot of people, they go into like an argument and they think they have knowledge, but the knowledge they have is already like just partial truths, or they don't have the whole full picture. Like me, I can't really say much about the flat earth theory because I don't know jack shit about it. All I know is what I've been told before in the past. Mm-hmm. And again, like Boy Scout was saying, if we get like a scientist on here, what if the scientist is just telling us what he's known, his whole life, or she's known her whole life,
We're not sexist. So everybody knows.
So it's kind of like if I go to a particular, I know just briefly, if I go to a particular religious organization or politician organization, they're going to tell me their view of politics. They're going to tell me their view of religion. I go to a scientist, they're going to tell me their view of science as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a matter of like, unless I actually do the experiments myself, like go into the sky, go to the moon, go to Antarctica. Like, I would never really know. And to go to the core of the earth, I will never really know. I just have to really believe what it is that these people are telling me is in fact truth or not. I
don't know that you have to just believe on somebody else's word, but have them explain it in a way that they have proven it to be true, and you can look and see what different people's, not only their theory was, but then their reasoning behind and how they prove that fact to be true. Because you could find like all kinds of wacko scientists who might, have weird theories that may not necessarily be true, or could. Some things aren't. They just state it theory.
Here's one thing that Bobby says. Volcanic eruptions bring up core and sediments up. How do flat earthers explain magma?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering too.
Well, again, this all goes back to volcanoes, magma, therefore sphere. You can't really deduce anything from that.
Well, I mean, the way I see it is magma is kind of like at the core of the earth. So I would say we have to have something all the way around it to kind of like keep in that heat.
But what I can think from that,
because it goes up to millions and millions of degrees.
But what I can think from that is like there's pockets of oil in the ground, but it doesn't mean the ground is made of oil.
Well, yeah, oil's like dinosaurs.
But that's why like there's it's not like the earth is just core, just a big thing of oil. Maybe there's pockets of volcanic magma, like there's pockets of oil.
Oh yeah, there's volcanoes, but a lot of those holes go straight to the magma core.
But that's what they tell us, like what Lance is saying. But does it actually go to the magma core, or is maybe there's just pockets of?
Well,
I see what you're saying.
I'm
Like,
sure there's been scientists that have dug up and
like by
found
your
out.
theory, like because I have a zit and if I pop it, pus comes out, then therefore I'm full of pus.
Yeah, I'm a core of pus.
Yeah.
No, just come. I mean, buzz. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these things, man. And there's things that I still have trouble with. Like a good one. I'm surprised nobody has brought this up yet. Is, well, you kind of brought this up. Is that, on a lunar eclipse, how can that be reconciled on a flat Earth?
Because
Yeah.
they say that the whatever's on the other side.
Yeah. Another one that a lot of people bring up is southern star trails in the southern hemisphere.
I don't know if they can see this on view, but this was what I was talking about. If they can see the shadow, can you see on the view of the shadow as I turn it? See how it changes shape, where
Here.
in comparison of the light, where if this were moving in this way, you see how the way it changes shape on the background, the shadow.
So they can
Okay.
see.
That's why they say it has to be a sphere, because when the moon, as the shadow of the Earth moves across it, it stays a circle and eclipses instead of elongate.
There have been recorded events in history where the sun and the moon have been in the sky at the same time during a lunar eclipse. So, I mean, I'll leave that for people to kind of look that up for themselves. But
Wait, so there's a lunar eclipse while the sun and the moon were both in
Yeah.
the sky and visible.
yeah,
Whoa.
there's all kinds of ancient mythologies that believe in another celestial body known as the Black Sun.
Nibiru.
No, that's something else. This is known as Rahu, or the Black Sun. And
Wahoo!
Oh my god. Scout loves the
I love the
effects
echo.
board.
So here's another one. I was thinking about this earlier, and Bobby touched on it. So would you think that the moon is flat as well?
I don't know.
So guys, I'm going to the restroom real quick.
You can look at people doing computer generated 3D imagery, where you can achieve the same exact effect of, because when you see the moon, it has that kind of I forget the word that it is that describes how it looks like a ball. It around the edges where everything kind of seems to terminate into, like if you were looking at a basketball or something, especially
Right.
with the way that light propagates off of it. But you could achieve the same effect if the moon was not in fact a sphere, but more shaped like a Skittle or an M&M, where it's curved on the surface, but we don't know exactly what's behind that. You could achieve the exact same thing, and that's been duplicated in 3D generated software.
So do you think that the moon is flat?
I don't know. I don't really claim to know anything beyond which there is no scientific evidence for.
I don't know. I mean, for me, like when you see the moon is the full moon, and there's a crescent moon, then there's no moon. I mean, it's kind of what they're saying is it could be the shadow of the sun and the Earth. So the Earth is projecting the shadow, making the moon a crescent moon. I know some people are gonna say, "Oh, well, it's probably because it's a fucking Skittle or some shit," but I don't believe in that. I mean, there's kind of, you can actually watch it with the telescope and see the moon actually turning. Hey, what's up, Ashley? You can see the moon turning slowly. Well, from us, it's slowly. Over there, it's probably like fucking thousands of miles or whatever, hundreds of miles.
Well, the moon doesn't turn. It's tidal locked in geosynchronous orbit, so we only see one side of it during any given time.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it moved.
No, because on the dark side of the moon, Jack Parsons, his
Fucking
crater's
boss.
always in the dark.
Oh man. Do you
one of
guys
the
have any
guys
more
that
questions
started
about
NASA.
flat Earth?
Dude, so if the Earth was flat, don't you think the cats would have pushed everything off the edges by now?
That's what I was thinking.
Hey, bro.
Fuck your
If you're
coffee.
a flat earther, do you jack off when you see pancakes? Because you get enticed by the flatness of it?
I had to say it because I knew somebody was dying to say it.
Fucking Tony.
All the people that love cats and watching them
Oh
be
my
passive aggressive.
One question. How about that Merkaba?
What?
How about the Merkaba?
Dude, bro, get into your Merkaba and travel through the fucking 7 stages of depression. I don't.
And fucking shoot yourself. So, any more questions, guys, about flat Earth?
Yeah, dude, how come nobody called in? It's 978.
543-0405.
Come on, people.
Live links.
I know y'all are throwing out opinions really fast on the chat, and I know that I skipped some of these people's opinions and things and questions got skipped and stuff. The best way probably to just actually have the discussion might be better called in.
Yeah, maybe.
Absolutely agreed.
But you know what? I'm going to give them 2 more minutes. Or should we do 9 more minutes?
Depending on how many people are clouds. What do you think about clouds?
It's
Just clouds.
I can blow some
water
clouds.
evaporating,
Clouds.
making steam, which causes clouds in the air.
Adiabatic lapse rate? Question mark.
Next.
Next one, give it to me.
Fucking next. Jesus.
Yeah, again, because I don't have too much information
Fuck.
other than what's been given to me already, and who am I to say that the information that I get of flat Earth is any more valid or any less valid than what I've already been given?
Yeah, man. A lot of it comes down to, hey, bro, fucking NASA's got this shit on lock. You didn't see the Tesla car that they launched into space that's floating in front of
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
perfect sphere? I mean,
Yeah, I saw that.
some people can just look at that and be like, dude, I'm going to call it a day. That's good enough for me. And, essentially all these arguments, because when you look back at what Copernicus actually said, he said that the heliocentric theory does not have to be true. It doesn't even have to be probable. And you look back at all Einstein and all these guys, Tycho Brahe, who had his own Tychonic system, and all these mathematicians are saying that heliocentricity cannot be proved one way or the other on Earth. And these are direct quotes from the, and you guys can look this up for yourself. I'm not making this shit up. So eventually you have to, or what I have to do is I have to make a decision based on the information that I'm given from NASA, from JPL, and from the Chinese missions and the Mars rover and all these pictures that they're taking of Saturn up the ass and around the rings and all this other stuff. I either have to say, hey, I believe this is factual, or I don't. And then I'm kind of like in the same boat as Scout, is that I have to just kind of go with what I believe in my own gut and think about, are these people, do they have my best interests at heart? We pay $30 million, something like that a year, I think.
Yeah, for NASA.
For NASA's budget. Does government have the capacity to lie? And then you get into philosophical debates about why would they and stuff like that. And, to me, I just look at what I can discern from my own. I have to trust my own instincts.
Okay.
Which is known as, back then, there was a flat earther who introduced what's called zetetic astronomy, and discerning for yourself what you can rectify with your own logic and not relying on outside influence. And I just try to do that. And there's a lot of things that come up that I don't have the answers for. And, some things I'm just not able to discern, like I have trouble figuring some of these things out. And for some people, it's okay to just take whatever the status quo answer of that is. And for me, sometimes that doesn't sit right. And don't fucking look any of this shit up, you guys. Just fucking. You don't want it. You don't want this, Ricky Bobby. You don't want this life.
I think I want it.
I love the romantic ideas of NASA. Like, I always thought the idea of being able to eventually find a planet we could terraform, and we'd have our own planet where we could go to, as like a backup, for Earth if we screw
I
up
have
Earth
something
so
for the
bad.
backup for that. Aliens and their long penis probes in your butthole, fisting that hole hard.
There's a funny thing about aliens is.
Oh gosh. Tune in next week for aliens.
Well, there's none. There is none.
I don't believe that.
And there's a paradox called the Fermi paradox that asks the questions: if all these fucking habitable life forms, life planets, lifelike planets and ecosystems exist out there like they say they are, then where the fuck is everybody?
So
And it's a mathematical. The Fermi paradox is a mathematical improbability. It should be fucking Star Trek out there, Star Wars.
What you're talking about is, so we have, well, theoretically infinite space, infinite, and then so for Earth or for any planet to be Earth-like and supported, it has to be so far from orbiting sun and have an atmosphere and all of these perfect ingredients, which just so happen to have happen here, and then not have an astrological event, or maybe the astrological event was what caused, life to work out on here. Everybody's got different ideas. But really, if you look, if you take an infinite model and you look out at space and there's that many stars and that many things orbiting, it seems impossible that there couldn't be something created. And now we don't know, can we reach it? Is it smart like us? Would it even want to? Because that's the other thing, because we always take things from our point of view, like that the other thing would be aggressive and that it would want to go look for other people. Maybe they would be just at peace and they're like, I just want to stay on my own planet. We all like each other here. We live in, a perfect utopia, and they're not because it was a utopia, they have no interest in traveling other places or communication because they're happy. I don't know.
Here's something crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Is that, let's say, for instance, that one of those lifelike planets did have advanced technology, and they looked at us from that far away. Well, accepting the heliocentric model, I have to accept that by the time that my light reaches them, they're actually looking at us in the past, and they're looking at dinosaurs traverse the earth.
Because it takes a long time for light to reach.
So they're not going to see our podcast till light years.
We'll be long dead by the time they show up to argue with us, and they're like, "You're wrong." It's too late. We stopped existing a long time ago.
I think part of NASA too is like this kind of like idea of like, we like American idealism, and we want to be like, hey, we went to the Earth or the moon first, and we did this and we do that, So also, if like we accept that NASA's bullshit and they've been bullshitting us the whole time, it's almost kind of like a blow to our ego, in a sense, as just like what we've been told.
Well, the romantic idea of like where Orville and Wright, we created planes, and we like nobody can fly, and then we like, you know what, we're gonna fly, and we did it, and then somebody, no, you'll never be able to go to the moon. You know what, we are gonna go to the moon. I like that. It's a romantic idea. I don't know. I feel like
Avery, not now.
We wish to go to the moon and do the other thing, not because it is easy,
You know what we
but
did?
because it is hard.
And you know what we did? We went to Las Vegas instead and put 30,000 on black and lost.
The manager has a question though.
Yeah. I
Sick
saw
boy,
this.
what's your guilty pleasure?
Yeah, what is your guiltiest pleasure?
Fuck,
I hope your
bro.
girlfriend's watching.
Let's see, man.
Anal probing.
Is
Little
it
Debbie's, man.
Is it kneeling on all fours in the bathroom naked, shoving a thing in your ass, taking a picture with you smiling like this?
I don't know what that's about, but I will say, bro, just give me a fifth of NyQuil and put your pinky in my butt and let me go to sleep.
No, but seriously,
I
though,
figured you were going to say seeds.
What is your actual guilty pleasure?
I don't know, man. I guess probably, I like Justin Bieber, dude.
I think it's cool.
Such a cop-out move. Come on, man. What is your guilty pleasure?
Dude, I don't watch TV. I don't watch none of that, man.
Yeah, we know. You don't
think,
even have Facebook anymore.
Man, I'm trying to think about what I do this fucking... Dude, I'm having the craziest deja vu right now. It's blowing my fucking mind. Dude,
We play a lot of Apex.
That's one question I have. What do you think deja vu is?
Oh, man.
What is deja vu?
Like to you, Lance, like from your perception, what do you think deja vu is?
when I was trying to go to college the first time, we were in Corpus Christi, and I was with this girl. She was from South Africa, and I told her that I had the craziest deja vu. She was like, "Do you know what that is?" And she was like, "That means that your life is unfolding exactly the way that it should be."
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I just kind of fucking
He
I
kept
like
it.
that. Yeah.
I kind of see it as like you seeing a little bit in the future, and then your mind's like, oh no, that never happened. And then it happens, like, oh fuck.
I think it's possible that I may have experienced this in a past life or a parallel universe. I'm kind of catching a glimpse into some other like alternate reality, because I think, like, just me personally, I'm like some kind of infinite being. You know, I've been here before, I'll be here after, and you know, there's more to come, but I can't go too far into it because I'm here right now, so I got to experience it here right now. But every once in a while, I may tap into something beyond what I am experiencing right here, right now, and those things are like already premonitions I may have had before in the past. I'm having that experience right now that I've already had before that I've forgotten, and I come back here in the moment. And that's just like what feels comfortable to me, in a sense. But there's so many different like ideas of what that could possibly be.
Yeah.
Like we could have parts of the stars in us right now. That's one theory.
I know something.
No,
within you.
that is according to the heliocentric model. That is
Yeah.
what we are. Stardust.
Yep.
Shit. All right, guys.
I believe in that.
Well, I love you.
What's the luck? Hey.
Well, guys, this has been a weird topic.
Well, we reached a new low. Haven't
Yeah.
we? We run shit to talk
Oh
about.
man.
It's been some. This has been a. Gotta stop watching internet porn.
What?
Anyways, guys, we have reached around our 2-hour limit of what we do for everybody. We don't try to make our show too long for everybody that wants to watch it later on. So we reached that 2-hour limit. Sick Boy, we'd love to thank you for coming on the show with us and talking about all that.
Thank you guys.
That was an experience.
I had fun.
Yeah, it was interesting, and thank you for talking with us about your music career and all the things that we've done and all that, and that you have done and what your guilty pleasures were. Thank you for making us laugh too, and I think we all learned something today. But
The Earth is flat.
I don't know about all that.
It's a possibility.
Do you get any final words?
Bro, tune in next week. We're going to teach you how to fucking shoe a horse.
Oh, shit. Can't promise that. Boss, got any final words?
I love y'all, man. Everyone just keep talking to each other. Keep an open mind. If you disagree with each other, awesome. That's okay. It's okay to disagree with each other, man.
Doesn't mean you can't be friends.
It's true, dude.
I like that you say that, because the truth is, I actually find before I had like this real strong conviction, whereas like if anyone disagrees, you know, whatever the fuck. But now it's kind of like I like people who disagree because they keep life interesting. You know, everyone's just not always agreeable. Like, you know how boring fucking life would be if everyone just like agreed on the same shit all the time.
That's it. We're not friends anymore. Fuck you.
I think it's important to have
kidding.
friends that you don't agree with and you can hear an opposite opinion, because if you only have people around you that are saying the same stuff all the time, how are you ever going to grow? How are you ever going to know anything different?
That's why I like topics like this, because it does get us out of our safety net, you know, of like information of what we think is right. Because whenever we have that, we can't grow, we can't experience new things, we can't be open-minded if we're always fed the same information all the time.
Yeah, dude.
Shit. All right, guys. Before we go, big shout out to all you flat earthers out there. Keep believing in what you believe. Big shout out to Boardwalk Tattoos. Big shout out to Cloudcraft. Big shout out to Avery out there.
What's
Big
up, baby?
shout out to Fast Eddie's Vape Shop and Lounge located in Florida. Make sure you check them all
Hosanna.
out. Hashtag I love you, Hosanna. Hashtag Go Spurs Go. Hashtag Hog Motherfucking Wild. Hashtag SICKBOY. We didn't get some microphone. You get
Hey,
so
do you have a link for your music, dude?
I think I still got a SoundCloud up.
How do people find that?
Shit, I don't even know, bro.
I think it's SICKBOY.
Album coming never.
Yeah. He's not big into music anymore. But if you can, if you need a way to listen to his music, hit me up and I'll get you linked in. But anyways, guys, we love you all. You all have a great night. And with that, we bid you adieu.
Bye, guys. Have a
Good night, everybody.
Deuces.
Thanks for tuning in. See y'all next week.